took everything off the frequency here, man. You just wiped the frequency clean there. Good morning. Yeah, well, we have Needle Bender 1952 Oliver there in Bermuda, inside there also. So, good morning there, Needle Bender 777, click, click, coming out of Tampa there this morning, like a U.S. freight train here on the island there, over. Okay, all right. My goodness, there's fire in the wires. They would say locally here, man. Fire.
What's happening, George? Good to see you.
Let me swing it up there to Oliver. See, he has something, some sentiments to pass to you there. Hey, Oliver. Hey, the big man himself is on the frequency here coming out of Tampa. Needle Bender 777 there, over.
I don't know if you're a radio guy or not, but I'm on the CB band.
Okay.
I'm on channel 38, frequency 27385, the lower side, man.
Okay, Oliver, sentiments reciprocated there from Rick to you, and likewise did the needful there. So, Oliver, have yourself a wonderful rest of the day. Good morning, 101 inside there, and 101 down in the Briar Patch. But good morning, 101 once again. Needle Bender 821, the witch doctor here on the island of Trinidad. I'm back on the side. Okay, Rick, catch you later. Oh, Needle Bender 44 is inside there. Good morning, Jenny, coming out of the Clearwater. You're a bad boy, Derek. You're a bad boy. All right, Jerry, Rick said he'll give you permission to talk today, over. Yeah? I got the video game to roll it here, over. Okay, Jerry, good morning to you there. And Rick, out there in Tampa, Needle Bender, Rick said hello, Mello Jello. Also have Needle Bender Oliver up there in Bermuda inside.
Oh, that's definitely Skip Land. That right there, that's the witch doctor. He lives down in Trinidad. Yeah, that's where he's at. He's on that island down there, just north of Venezuela. Yeah, that's where he's at. I'm in Florida. I'm in the Panhandle of Florida. So.
Okay, Oliver. All right, well, I did pass the greetings to Needle Bender Jerry from you there also. Over. No problem at all there. All right, Rick, catch you sometime later. And Oliver, I'm back on the quiet side. Hey, Needle Bender 821, the witch doctor here on the island of Trinidad. Saying something. Bye-bye. Enjoy your Jackson, guys.
Hey, Philip. Hey, witch doctor, you got a copy of 1122 Wingnut out here listening to you?
Yeah, I'm going to upload it on the Neil Bender's page there. I will take and put it up on the Neil Bender's Facebook page. Yeah, bad boy.
Hey, witch doctor, you got a wingnut out here. You're listening to you.
Okay, Rick, have a wonderful rest of the day. Yeah, I'm fine.
Witch doctor. telling you, John.
Good morning, Bob, out of Virginia. And the other station is which doctor got noise, those boys there, hammering me down here on the island. So good morning to you there. And good morning, Bob, up there in Virginia. We're to 2209, which doctor, New Bender 21, waving right back.
Which doctor? You ain't got no damn ears. You can't hear Wingnut up here. Double one, double two on the side. Yeah. I hear you, George.
Talking to him, you can hear the other guys talking to him, but they must be covering us up. Okay, Bob, enjoy the show up there in Virginia. Catch you later. And the other station trying to get in there. Bob has a big signal into my receive there, so apologize for not hearing you there.
What's up, Trina?
You didn't get your numbers there, over. Okay, nothing heard. They wish the doctor saying good morning all around, and I'm on the side.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be hearing him for a little bit, right? What do you bet there, John?
Say what now? I heard you say they're going to be hearing him for a while, but what'd you say after that?
I was going to say, how much you bet we're going to be hearing? We're going to be hearing him for a whip.
Oh, yeah.
House 59 Club, right on. I am the. I mean, on sideband, like going around on international type talking or whatever. If you want to get down to that, I'm in the second division. I'm in America. Fox India. That used to be like a Fox India radio group I was belonging to, so I still use the call sign. 1122 Wingnut. That's my handle and stuff. And 1122 has kind of got some shit behind it, but I gave that to myself. But Wingnut was given to me, so that's how all that started. But I've been doing it for a while.
Which doctor? They caught a couple Mexicans on the highway, I-10. They importing fucking more people from Mexico. They're driving them in. So they got them on traffic, human trafficking. Two Puerto Ricans, not Puerto Rican, two Mexicans. 44 is around Georgia there. Are you hearing him there, over? So everybody got arrested.
Yeah, Roger.
About time they stopped the illegal Mexicans coming in. Okay, 944.
Well, just the human trafficking part is bad enough,
That's probably later on this. That's what they were doing. Both of them were supposed to be here in the first place. They're driving a nice car, but they were waving back and forth till the state police pulled them over and find out everybody's in the car illegally from Mexico.
Roger.
Come on in. Biden said so.
Yeah, Roger.
QSK. Come on, QSK, come on. Roger, good morning to you, sir. How are you doing, KP 186?
Yeah, 19 is still.
All right, sir. I'm doing all right. You over there in the island, thank you.
It's still a trucker channel, but that it's.
Yeah, which doctor's kind of causing a little fusses this morning, but good morning to you out there, if you can still hear me. 514 over here in Panama City, Florida. Roger, and 514, thank you very much, Tony. We're good in Barbados this morning. Have a great day.
And our kid, and our chick. Oh, it's good to see you out there, girl. What's up, man?
All right, you take care over there. And 73 Stereo, sounding good in the States. 514 down here in Panama City, Florida City. If you knew what I was doing right now, you'd be pissed. Yes, sir. That was 09.
Well, hey John, how about this? I just like I'll reach to the radio and I'll sit there and I'll smack you a couple times. Does that make you happy?
Not really, but I know you can't, so ha ha.
Shut up.
That was 09 Florida KP 186.
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. You know, it could be better, it could be worse. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something. We're getting into the peak of the solar cycle, George. If you know anything about that, man, it's gonna be getting like some good conditions for DX, man. Like even international shit. So it's only 7 o'clock my time here. In about an hour or two, well, around closer to 9 o'clock is when some international stuff was coming in for me, for instance. So it's been getting pretty good, and it hasn't even gotten to the peak yet. So if you know anything about that kind of stuff. What'd you say, John? I'm sorry, man. I was totally busy. I'm sitting there trying to figure out how much coffee I got left. Which I need to like top it back off.
What's going on? Your boss man, the guy you did the things for, he ain't calling him back yet?
No, dude, no. The last time I talked to him, it was going to be about 2 or 3 weeks anyway, you know, before anything was going to happen. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. When he was sitting there telling me, man, see if, you know, if I could like hustle up some work, it kind of pissed me off because I was like, it's not my fucking business, man. It's your business. You hook up the damn you know, the jobs and shit. I'm just the employee, dude.
I don't know, man. That dog's gotta eat.
Yeah, I hear you. No shit. So yeah, I'm just doing what I was doing before I got that. Before I started doing that, you know what I mean? I'm just going, you know, selling stuff. But there, you know, I got to get some more inspiration and kind of make some new stuff. But I'm selling stuff, like doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know, you know, who knows? We'll see what happens.
Trying to return your call. Let's use some of the imagination you got in that brain somewhere.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I'm in Florida. I'm in the northwest corner of Florida, up in the Panhandle myself.
Curiosity, what radio sound better, this one or the other one? When I was on the one by the bed.
I can tell you were laying down with using when you're on the other one. This one, they're both fine, dude. I like the sound of both of them. This one, you know, you're sitting up. I can tell you're sitting up, and you're fucking loud. You're now clear, you know, all that stuff.
Oh, it's not clear?
No, you are clear on both of them.
Okay. I thought you said I'm not clear. I'm like, what?
No, man.
Yeah, I got this, about 150, about 175, something like that. That ain't much. It's a small kicker. I got hooked up to it. I like to turn around, get the big solder, and maybe put some of these, 718s or whatever, not 718s, what the hell they are, but I got a whole shitload of fucking finals. That would be nice to see if we could go into that, what you call the 450 high drive. Not made for, well, I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
Because they have Motorola finals in that one. I don't know if you could put I guess you can. Does that do totally dead.
Did what? Do it? What? What? Huh?
That, what you call it, Palomar, 450 high drive. Does not do anything or is totally dead?
Oh no, I don't know exactly what popped in it. I don't think it was the finals. I think it was something else, but I just haven't really dug into it.
Damn for it.
Yeah, it just, and when it stopped working, I just said screw it. I just put it aside. I didn't want to fool with it at the time, and then I just never got back to it.
I gave you a little one, a long one. That ain't working no more, is it? Long black one.
Like I said, I don't have any of them that work at the moment.
You should come over one day. We're trying to put some finals in a couple of them, see if they pop up or not.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's like some of them I know it's the pills in them, yeah, but the other ones is probably just like maybe a resistor or something like that that probably popped, or one of the capacitors or something that probably, I don't know, but it's a matter of like tracing all that shit down.
Yeah, you also got a couple of them galaxies. A couple of them too.
Yeah. They got with the 250 or something like that, or I can't remember exactly. I got a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah, one's 300 and one's 250.
Yeah, something like that.
Man, you should bring them over. Let's see if we can get them going.
I hear you. Yeah. I mean, in one of those, I can't remember which one it is. Probably is the pills in it. And I don't know if it's just one of them that popped. I don't know, but it could have been both of them.
I got a meter over here. You always check with the meters, and pinpoint which one's blown.
I hear you. Well, I don't know, man. The next time I get around there or whatever, or you think about it when you're over here, What was that?
I said 10-4.
Yeah, your phone was right next to you or something.
No, why? It's getting scratchy?
Yeah, it sounds like your phone is right next to you or something.
Doing it now?
No.
Okay, maybe it's this way you gotta hold this thing.
Roger. Matter of fact, I gotta get some more too. I'm working on it. I'm also trying to get the day started. Yeah, I really don't even have that much myself either because
I tell you what do you want? I know I gave you the blue black one, the long one, but what do you want for that one?
I don't know, dude. I haven't thought about it.
I know damn well I could probably slip one of these pills in there and try to get it going.
Yeah, Roger. Hey, John. I'll be right back. I gotta top off my coffee real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back.
And then talking about what you call on TV, the G there on the telephones, they messing up with the airports and stuff, and they want to turn around and try to get them to change it.
Oh, you mean the G5? You talking about the 5?
Yeah, G5 there, yeah. They, what you call it,
5G.
they're on the news, they're talking about it again, how it defects the aircraft. So they need to turn around, change it out, get rid of it. I'll be back, I gotta take the dogs out.
This is how me and some guys, man, I know, man, some buddies of mine, me and John do it all the time, man, but, some buddies of mine, like, locally, will get up, hell, this is like my morning thing kind of thing, man. It's like, get up, maybe have some coffee, and you sit there and bullshit with some friends on the radio and talk about this and that or whatever. It's still a good technology, man. It still works. And then with the conditions the way they're getting now, man, there's times, man, I'm talking out of the state, all over the fucking U.S., out of the fucking country. Like, I can talk to Canada kind of like a lot. And then there's been some stuff early in the mornings, man, where now it's getting into the point where conditions are get good enough to even talk fucking Europe, out like toward like Ireland, Scotland, and fucking Britain, UK, Germany, South Africa. And then like in the evening times, man, you can get out like toward Hawaii and fucking Australia and New Zealand. I love it when conditions are like that. Fucking badass, man. Yeah, I've talked all over the world too, but I'm worldwide with Nerd Radio. I'm telling you, man, for real. Been talking on the radio since I was 14, man. I'm 47 right now, so well, off and on, but pretty much since I was 14 years old. One of the original social networks, the CB radio, where each individual becomes the network. We don't need no fucking stinking cell towers. We don't need no stinking 5G. Right on, Georgie. That's going right on. I noticed you subscribed yesterday, man. That's pretty cool, man. I'm glad you're here, man. It's awesome. I'm just kind of sitting back and seeing who all pops in, talking on the radio for now, at the moment. I was thinking about doing an experiment. Um, I was thinking about doing this experiment where I wouldn't even go live, or I could go live for just a short time, and then just do like some talks backstage where we wouldn't be live, we wouldn't be public, it would just be backstage stuff, and we can sit there and just chat back there. I mean, honestly, I could do that without even going live in the first place. I can just put the notice out there that I'm there, or it's like you're going to go live type of thing with the picture or whatever, and I'll just put the StreamYard link in there and come backstage. I can have 6 people on the panel and stuff like that, and then we can sit there and talk, and I wouldn't even go live. And have like private on no censorship worries, where we're not having to worry about getting fucking our streams shut down, blah blah blah. And I was also thinking about circumventing some of the, it wouldn't even use any of the hours for StreamYard. You know what I mean? it wouldn't even count as being your hours being used up. Well, if, I mean, for instance, I'm on a free thing, so I got 20 hours. So it wouldn't even. I don't think it will even tap into that, especially if I didn't go live at all. You know what I mean? So it's an idea I'm thinking for, like, just some backstage private talks. You know what I mean? And then also, like, for instance, everybody can still be chatting in the chat. You know what I mean? They just wouldn't be seeing or hearing any of what's going on panel, for instance, unless you came into the back room and blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like Anarchy Chick, wouldn't that be kind of cool? You know what I'm saying? Kind of like, I don't know. The only thing is, like, everybody in the chat would just be sitting back chatting with each other, and then everybody that's in the panel backstage, they can still see the chat and they can sit there and still comment into the chat. But it wouldn't be anything everybody, like, they wouldn't see or hear anything. It just be like a notification that I was going to go live. You know what I mean? For instance, it's an idea I've been, like, toying around with. I was thinking about doing that. I started that way. Actually, that's why it took me a while for it to eventually go live, because I was just to see if anybody. Oh, wait a minute, who's that? Who's that? Nobody, nobody. I like this channel. Right on, man. Right on. Into what I was on. Oh, right on. Yeah, I'm on channel 38. I am on channel 38, lower sideband. That's what I'm on right now. I don't really talk AM because I just work my finals too fucking much. So I like working sideband. It's a lot easier on my equipment. Plus, I get out further with less wattage. Doing more with less, in a sense. Well, yeah. I got mostly 10 meters. I got all of 11 meters and most of 12 meters. So that's what I got. If you understand what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, I can tell you right now exactly. Hold on, let me see it. I'll do this for you. I'll go down. All right. That's how. Was it? That's how far down into 12 meters. That's how far down into 12 meters I can go. And that's how high into 10 meters I can go. That'll give you an idea. No, I don't have CW. I got no use for CW. I don't do did dot. Yeah. I work sideband. I'll do talk. I can and I do every once in a while talk on AM and FM, but that's it. That's I got yeah. I don't do dead dot. I got no use for it. I mean you know what I'm saying. Craziness. Somebody keeps on popping in and then popping right back out. I don't know who's doing that.
I was wondering if they had his name listed in red.
It's interesting. So how is everybody doing out there in YouTube land right now, man? How's everybody? Depends on where you are in the world, what time it is in your area. You know what I'm saying? What's everybody up to? How is your day so far?
Now, I understand my mother-in-law was, back in the day, was part of the Whiskey Charlie group. I don't know. He told me it was years ago, and it was when I think it was when he was up there. Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'm done. That's when I got in on it, and I noticed that recently that most needle bender and world radio.
Got some damn truckers fucking trying coming in on the AM side. Holy crap on a cracker.
You got that shit right.
Telling you, man. Will they ever learn?
I don't know if you've been watching TV or not, but boy, shit's heating up over there in Russia.
What do you think, John? Is it time for us to like take you get our head between our knees and kiss our ass goodbye, or what?
Maybe build a bunker or something if you can survive. I don't know.
We got enough time to build a bunker. Fuck, John. What? Fuck.
Hey, you got the hills over there. All you have to do go down by where we used to go shooting. Park a van down there, let the dirt cover it, and leave the front door open so you can get in.
Dude, this is sniper heaven, dude. I mean, see, it can work both ways, but it's sniper heaven, dude. Yeah.
You know, war's war. They always have it. Somebody wants to start one.
Well, they're gonna, I mean, it's gonna push. They're gonna push us into it, man. I just wish we did. We would just. I mean, you know, it's got nothing to do with us, John. I mean, it's got nothing to do with us, and we're gonna be pushed into it.
Yeah, because we're their allies. We're gonna send. They had a fucking Democrat senator out there too, was on the news and saying that, yeah, we're gonna give them ammo, we're gonna give them tackle, you know, work. They're gonna get everything they need. And right there, Russia's gonna be, oh fuck, you know, United States sticking their nose in this. Yeah, that's a lot of shit we gotta worry about. Like I said, they had a protest in Russia about it. They don't want to be the people there don't want to go deal with this shit.
Hey, I appreciate cop watchers. There's a necessity for. I used to do it back when I was younger. And I'm gonna tell you something. I appreciate that shit. And it's like you're the boots on the ground, the eyes right there up in front of it, and all that stuff. I appreciate everybody that does that stuff.
I got a temperature right now. Believe it or not, it's 27 degrees.
I believe it, man. I mean, the only way I wouldn't freeze to death if I was standing out there in that sun. And at the moment, man, the sun's coming in pretty good.
Well, you know what's good? I went out to my car to go get something, and I walked out there barefoot. We got no wind over here, no wind at all, so that made it a lot better. But they said it's going to get windy.
Well, everywhere that the sun hasn't hit yet, there's still frost on the damn grass, man.
Go feel your ice on your car.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, it's like all the grass out there. Everywhere that the sun is not touching, it's like still got frost everywhere.
Oh yeah, like I said, it's 27 degrees, but they said it's going to warm up to the 50s or so later on. But we're also going to have it breezy. So with her, so you watch TV now, or you just been listening to other radio stations?
I'm kind of paying attention to both you and that.
Oh, I didn't know if you had it on. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning from Italy, Europe. Good morning.
I'm multitasking, John.
Italy. Good morning.
Was that Italy? That was cool.
Yeah, no shit. There is Italy, Europe on the side. Good morning. How about in Italy? 514, Division 2, Panama City, Florida. 514, that in Florida. Good morning from the northern part of Italy. 1 Alpha Tango 027. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Glad to hear you out here. It always is a pleasure on this end talking to Italy. You take care out there and have a safe day there. 514 with my hand out of Panama City, Florida. QSL. Nice to meet you. Here is my first person on this end is Giancarlo. My name here is Giancarlo. I spell like a Ciancarlo, Giancarlo, and my call is a 1 Alpha Tango 027 here in the northwest part of Italy. How copy, over? Oh, I got a good copy, sir. Got an excellent copy on you over this way. You got operator John down here in Panama City, Florida. Over here in the States here. All right, dear sir, you sounded great. Always like to talk to Italy, but that's probably, I got a friend over here, 1122. He might want to jump in and say good morning to you too. 514, saying 73, sir. God bless. Roger that. Thank you, John. Has been a pleasure. I wish you a great day there in Florida, and maybe another time for a longer QSO together. Here is Giancarlo, 1 Alpha Tango 027 in the northwest part of Italy. Thank you. All righty. Wait now, try it.
Hey, Giancarlo, hey, 1 Alpha Tango 027, you got a copy of 2 Fox India 1122 Wingnut Radio?
Over. Right back at 009 Southwest Florida.
Somebody else got him in front of me. Somebody else got him in front of me. That's okay.
Go ahead, give it a shot, man. 009.
Yeah, I will, but hold on.
027 Giancarlo. Happy New Year, Roger.
I'll catch him in a minute.
Roger. Hey, Ray, thank you for acknowledging us. Thank you for giving me a call. You are the stronger one right now. 5 and 5 is a great audio. I wish you a blessed day over there, and always a pleasure. 1 Alpha Tango 027 009. Bye-bye, Ray.
Hey, 1 Alpha Tango 027. 1 Alpha Tango 027. You got a copy of 2 Fox India 1122 Wingnut Radio.
How about that, Italy? How about that?
Oh, you bastard fuck.
Got a group of division Radio 687 Delta Rodeo 687 Panama City, Florida, USA. 687 Delta Romeo 687. Good morning, right back. 18007 Giancarlo here in Italy. Good morning. Good morning. What about you? You sounded good over here in Panama City, Florida. You sounded good. Everybody 5x7, 5x9. You talking to him? Here in Panama City, Florida, USA. You got Division 2, Delta Rodeo 687, Delta Rodeo 687, Panama City, Florida, USA. Roger on that. Thank you for the nice report. You're 5 and 5, 55 here in the northwest part of Italy, and the name here is Giancarlo. My first personal here is Giancarlo, Giancarlo. Giancarlo. Could you give me also your first personal, please? Over. No, Roger. My personal would be Carrie, C. Charlie. You're talking to him. Echo Yankee. Again, Carrie, C. Charlie, A. Alpha, Romeo, Echo Yankee.
I think he is.
Carrie, nice to meet you. Lovely coffee here in Italy. And also for you and family, I wish you a good day over there in Florida. And thank you for giving me a call, Carrie. 1 Alpha Tango 027 2 Delta Radio 687 73, Carrie, and thank you. Roger, you take care. Be safe and stay warm up there. Roger, stay safe, stay warm. 73, bye-bye.
1 Alpha Tango 027. 1 Alpha Tango 027. You got a copy of 2 Fox India 1122. One Alpha Tango 027. You got a copy of 2 Fox India 1122.
Somebody else is out there too. Tango something 204.
Yeah. That's what you get when you just running barefoot. Yeah, I have to depend on Mother Nature.
Hey, good morning, Carrie. Good morning, John. You made it to Italy too. Yeah, that's pretty good. Jump. Oh yeah. Poor wingnut.
I'll write that in the book, boy. My book is bigger than yours.
junk. That was nice. Anyways. Yep, no, it's probably going to be all day in and out.
Roger.
It's the sun's coming up. I hear somebody out there in the far distance, but I can't pick them up.
Yeah, I hear that too. I got my squelch off and stuff, so I can listen to all that other stuff back there.
Yeah, turn the preamp on, see what that pull in.
So actually, John, I've been talking to people like all over the freaking world, man, about all this shit, man. We're trying to figure it out, John. I'm trying to gather people together and figure it out.
I'll be right back. Go my. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be here.
You're definitely making the trip over. You sound like a local here in Barbados. Stay cool and not too cold, so you can enjoy the day. But I really like it is we definitely have some overcast conditions, but nothing too serious. Temperature from 26, 27 degrees Celsius. Okay, 2209. You take care. Have a great day, and stay safe as usual. 2209, hey Virginia. This is Q Papa 186 or November Whiskey 150. 73 is back on the quiet side. Uh, 127 South Carolina. We heard you on there.
Aloha, aloha, aloha.
Yeah, not so strong.
G'day, 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 g'day. How are you doing today?
All right, okay, you take care. Have a good day. Good morning to your family and stay safe. 127 in Carolina. I am sorry, ma. 127. They quite understood what you said. Conditions for the because they make your can you repeat again? I'm going to meet you again on the better conditions because you're going to have a study on this one and some other patients going also. So thank you very much once again. Good morning to your family. Have a great day. 127 in the Carolinas. KP 186 in Barbados 73.
I hear you. I woke up breathing once again myself, Jojo. Because I'm gonna tell you something. If you wake up not breathing, you're gonna have one hell of a day looking ahead. Because there's so many challenges if you wake up not breathing that is ahead of you in that day. So it'd be one hell of a day. That's what I say.
We know that you have some good weather for good this morning. We have some gas conditions here, but not like I said, nothing to worry about. What's the call on your hand? Go ahead. 1952. Operator Glenroy, good morning again, and there's something good in Barbados. Operator Andy Alpha November Delta Yankee, Kilo Papa 186, Roger. Hello, Barbados, 44 South Georgia, runway.
1122 wing note on the side of the road.
Thank you very much. 1952, operator native and identify understood. Yep, I don't have it Glenroy, I know this Glenroy anyhow. And nevertheless, I thank you very much. 73, you take care. Have a good day also. And be safe. I'll catch you another time. 1952 in Bermuda. Take care, my friend. Thanks again for the call. Kilo Papa 186 in Barbados.
Well, all right. It's time to wake everybody up out there. Wakey, wakey. Everybody, it's time to get your ass up. You got shit to do today. Get your ass up. Come on, wakey, wakey.
And it's going to improve a great deal. So, thanks once again, Oliver. You take care. And in Barbados, be back on the great side. Bye, bye, bye. Wake your sleepy ass up. 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 Get out of bed. It's time to go.
And by God, listen to her.
235. In Barbados, returning. All right, 235 in Bermuda. Good morning. Sounded really good in Barbados. Thank you very much for the call. 73 51
No, it was actually like a barred owl or like a hoot owl. It was the sound of a hoot owl. That's what it was. I actually got hoot owl sound too. I can do, but I gave him a whippoorwill instead. And hello. What are you doing over there, 99? Did I scare you? Did I scare you when I hollered? John left me all alone.
Hey, I tried. Good morning, there, 99. Good And I get wild.
I hear you.
It don't matter how much power. Sometimes they just not gonna hear you.
Yeah, Roger. I ain't worried about it too much. I just wait until the damn conditions are right.
I've heard guys out there saying around 100 watts, and I can hear them plain as day. I get on that 7-hour beam with 1,500 watts. Either they were ignoring me, or they just weren't hearing me.
Yeah. That's why I'm not worried about it too much, man. Like I said, man, when the conditions are right, I ain't worried about it. Yeah, I'll get out there just as good. But I don't speak Spanish or Portuguese, so.
Hey, 99. Yeah. Who's around now? Worked on amplifiers. Anybody around town? You can send them to X-Force and they'll work on them. Oh, hell no. Anybody small around town does little amps or anything, up there in Crestview or somewhere up there? I don't know anybody, John. Luckily, that does anything. Oh, Roger. Okay, I was just curious. I've got a couple of them need repair myself.
That's another thing too. When it comes down to
I've got enough stuff that works. I'm not worried.
technicians, man, there's a lot of those radio guys that are in. The fuck, man. Damn, hold on. Let me get this damn dog.
See if I can find somebody to do a little work in there. Ain't quite sure. I'm gonna look it over. Maybe I can find something. Maybe John, you better maybe this or something. I don't know yet. Wheels are so expensive. You buy them and cheaper. You get one fixed. Yeah, just about. Big fun. The brand new boards there are kind of crappy. But yeah, roughly around the same price. Yeah. Don't run down Texas Star on a rise, low power supply or burn it up. What now? Switching power supply, burn a Texas Star up. What is that? I don't know. Texas Star said do not use switching power supplies on our amplifiers. We will not warranty anything. I don't have to worry about that anyways. You need something like a restaurant or a battery or something around that fire, the other amplifiers. Yeah, each cycle one, yep. Put an isolator on it and just run it with a power supply into it, a battery charger, and go with it. You drain a battery down if you've got your, say if you got a 4 or 600, on a battery. If you drain the battery down while you're talking about it, the battery's no good, or you need to let the amplifier rest a little bit anyway. Yeah, I know. That's what my best. I might just turn around and put something else online. I'm gonna sell that X-Force, I guess. And I'm gonna put probably a Texas Star in line. And just go with that. And I got a 2-pill that needs new pills. I got a 8-pill and a 12-pill, and they're fine. 10-4. What do you got, X-Force? Yeah, I got 3 of them. Yeah. I do not want another X-Force. No, thank you. I have enough experience with that.
What's up, Joe?
Yeah, how are you, sir?
Let me turn this so I can hear you.
Hey, boy, man.
Uh, what you up to, man?
I'm just drinking a mocha and gathering up the, I don't know if it's energy or will to go and get a haircut.
Right on.
You know, but I'm not too bad. When I get my haircut, I didn't have to wear a mask or anything like that. I just tell them I'm exempt and they're like, no bother, there's no point arguing with you, is there? I'm like, no, there's no point arguing with me, so just cut my hair and let's get done there. Let's get out as well. You know?
Yeah, Roger.
So how's your, what you on? Are you on like early morning now or mid afternoon?
It's morning time. It's about 45 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning.
Ooh. So is that you just getting to sleep or is that you just up?
I've been up for a while.
Alright.
But the skip conditions are starting to come in. Like Italy just came in. A guy from Italy just came in. I'm here in Venezuela at the moment, so a lot of this international type stuff's coming in the radio. So
Alright.
I'm listening and maybe even get some contacts outside of the country. You know, that's what I'm
Well,
doing.
if it's South America, you're bound to pick up some train or other.
Say what now?
If it's South America, you're bound to pick up some form of train or other.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
pro-
yeah.
a big M train
Yeah.
as they all run away from all these landslides and weird weather patterns that seem to be
See, I remember
destroying
last.
South America.
Yeah. Well, I remember last. Was it last solar cycle, man? Because I was talking to a buddy of mine that lives out there in the UK, and he's a truck driver out there. So he goes all over Europe and stuff. And he was telling me it's like it was that time when all those people are like trying to get into countries and stuff, and like trying to smuggle themselves inside like trucks and lorries and stuff to get
Yeah,
across the border and all that. He was telling me, man, he was like, yeah, man, it got so bad, like even if he didn't know it and somebody fucking stowed away in his fucking lorry and shit, and he got
he
pulled
gets
over
done.
and they found him, they would charge him for like, was
Yeah,
it
yeah, but you've got to look.
stowaway or some shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but you've got to look at it like this, right? If you wanted people when they found out they got back home to apprehend those migrants until the police turned up, then you wouldn't charge them for being honest and saying, look, somebody's jumped in the back of my wagon, would you? You wouldn't fine them because that gives them a reason not to call and let them run away, doesn't it? Does that make sense?
I don't know yet. I'm not. See, I don't know. I gotta let that sit there and fry my noodle for a second because
Right.
the thing I
If
don't
if you if you didn't want the migrants here and
yeah
you wanted
yeah
to return them, right? Yeah. Now at that point you were talking about, now these guys are still charged. They get fined,
yeah
right? So if I'm a lorry driver and I'm coming back for Europe, right? Yeah, and I get into the UK, right, and when I park up my lorry to go and drop off stuff wherever I'm doing, right, wherever my load goes, and somebody jumps out the lorry, and yeah, why would I keep him? Why would I call the
no
police?
what he was saying is like for instance he was like there was a few times where they got out there and stopped traffic. Like they would get a bunch of guys that would stop the traffic, and then the lorries that were stuck in traffic, they would actually
They
sneak
jump on
into
it.
either the back
Yeah,
cab or in between, like where the truck and the cab is.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then and like some of them, they didn't know that happened, and they were going
Hmm.
across the border, and they got pulled over, and they still got charged. They didn't know shit was
Yeah,
happening. They didn't know it happened.
yeah, exactly. Right now,
Yeah,
for the ones that don't get caught, right? Yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
they make it past that checkpoint, right? If one of them then jumps out your vehicle, yeah,
yeah.
would you apprehend him and give him to the police, knowing that you're going to get fined? The answer to that is clearly no,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true. I
And
see that.
that's
I can
why
see that.
governments do it that way, because the ones that do get through, yeah, aye, they get to go. Because nobody in their right mind would hand them over. Because why would
Yeah,
you hand a migrant
I
over
see
and get
that. I
fined
see what you're
£4,000?
saying.
You get
I
what I
see what
mean?
you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
Aye. They try and use a trick, say, "Oh, you're supposed to check your vehicle before you go into checkpoints and all this kind of stuff." But let's face facts, it's nigh on impossible. And once you've been through one checkpoint, like
Yeah.
you said, they were literally jumping off bridges to get onto lorries,
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the
doing
thing.
what they
It's
did
like,
in South Africa, where they
yeah,
would
they would
lie
just
in the
stop
middle of the
traffic
street.
long enough, just
Yeah,
long enough, so they can sneak in there or in the back
yeah,
trailer or
yeah.
whatever.
It's the same tactic that was happening in South Africa years ago when certain demographics would lie in the middle of the road and then you get carjacked when you would
Right.
stop. Yeah, and I mean, I believe that was like way, like decades ago type
Right.
scenario. It's very similar, apart from they're jumping onto the wagon. There's no difference. I mean, the British government gave something like 53 million to France to stop them coming, and France used that money for the
Well,
Navy to escort them into British waters.
well, I mean, I don't know if it's really getting it, but we got that same kind of influx down on the southern border a lot, and
Mhm.
it's like from everywhere, not just from South America and all, Mexico and all that stuff. It's from everywhere that's trying to get through there, from
That
all kinds
corridor.
of different countries.
Aye,
And
aye, but then your new president kind of advertised free for all to come via that
yeah,
way. So
yeah, fuck 'em.
if you ask them to come, I suppose they're going to turn
Well,
up.
okay, now okay, see, I'm sitting there thinking about this. All right. I thought about this already, man, because I'm kind of playing both, the devil's advocate, I guess you would say. Like both, I'm looking at all of it, trying to look at it all of it. The idea of the big wall, I guess you would call it, on the southern border. If that was ever like a big wall, yes, that would keep all the people that's not supposed to be, or hasn't like gone through the fucking regular gates and all that stuff. Yes, that's true. Also, it could keep us in, and yeah, that's another angle on that. So I'm kind of uh, on like looking at something else, because I also I understand this. Like for instance, if I was to relate, like for instance, my yard, I've got a fence around my yard. That's my property, but in a sense, this country is ours, and it's kind of like, well, you don't just leave your door wide open for anybody to come in, do you? It's just, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know. I could be
No,
wrong in thinking that way, but I don't know.
well, it's for one, you have a completely different system from what we have here in the UK. People
Yeah.
land on our shores and get more money via your version of social security, basically.
Well, that's
Um,
yeah. That's good. That's another reason why I think a lot of this is stuff are coming in, because and they are offered all this money and stuff.
well,
And
I mean, from what I gather in the UK, if you are born and bred here, you fall in trying times, you go into like the equivalent of your social security over here is called benefits, Department of Work and Pension, Universal Credit. And there's different benefits for different things, if that makes sense. Like disabled have a different thing for normal people, for lack of a better word.
right.
And if you're a migrant, um, you probably get about 4 times as much money as what you do as somebody who's fell into hard times and involved in that safety net. Yeah. I find it hard to comprehend that somebody who's not put into the system whatsoever gets more money than somebody who's born here and quite possibly put into the system for 35 years, 40 years, 60 years, 70 years, who knows? Maybe even just 5 years. Yeah. But they've still inputted something. And because how taxation works, um, with value added tax, say 20% in the UK, normal standardised, the old system that you used to use in the States when the depression happened, when it collapsed, the old PAYE system, taxed at source rather than everybody being self employed basically. Everybody that's been here for a period of time has put into the system whether they have been on benefits fully or not, but they're given a much smaller portion than somebody who's just turned up, said they were 15-year-old when they're actually 20, because that's what's happening here. They reckon that 60% of people who came here and said they were under the age of 16, they're no, they're 18, 20-year-olds. You've got people sitting in classrooms pretending to be 15 that are 22-year-olds. And they're getting through the system to be able to sit in the classrooms clearly and I can't comprehend that. Really, I mean, at what point did during all these interview process, I assume you must have interview process for asylum. At what point did somebody decide, oh, aye, he's 15, oh, aye, he's 12, when he's 18, 19, 20? There's been cases up to 25-year-old pretending to be 15-year-old and sitting in classrooms in school,
Right.
which is a bit crazy, you know. And it seems to me it's like everything else that's government sponsored or government paid for. The table's tilted, and it's tilted in the opposite direction it should be, in my own personal opinion. I mean, I don't know if you've heard about that stuff here in the UK.
No, not really. I'm trying to keep my finger on the pulse, but not really. I don't know. It, it's just a matter of getting the information out. That's it.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people who don't want to talk about it through fear of branded things or whatever, or you know. But it's what I can't fathom it. I can't understand that, especially the like not just the monetary side of things. That's kind of immaterial for me. Realistically, it's just shocking, you know. But how can somebody pretend to be 13-year-old when they're 19-year-old? How come nobody picks up on that at all?
Hmm. Barbados, Barbados.
Well, you got Barbados.
Yeah, you know, that's yeah. So far, I've been getting like what I actually heard Italy and Venezuela and Barbados so far, like out that direction, and uh,
Good
and
afternoon, Jade.
yeah.
So, what's your plans for the rest of the day? You're going to have to bear the elements or the madness outside.
Say that one more time.
What's your rest of the plans for today? Are you having to bear the madness outside?
I don't know yet. I haven't really decided yet. I mean, I just kind of was gonna kind of go with the flow, that kind of thing. But I was sitting there thinking about, all right, trying an experiment one of these days. Is like, when I set up the StreamYard or whatever to go live, and
Hmm.
before I go live, I'm just kind of sitting there, and it's kind of like it's almost like sitting backstage after I shut the stream down. It's kind of like that, but it's just like I haven't even started the stream.
Hmm.
And I was sitting there thinking I could probably do some like, just some backstage type, chats and stuff, with, where it's like we don't have to worry about censors being censored or worried about being my channel taken down. I don't
Hmm.
fucking know. I was thinking about experiment with something like that, maybe.
Maybe,
And
maybe work. Some folk play like um, videos when they first start, if that makes sense.
so
Like maybe a topic, for example, um, or a bit audio video stimuli when they first come in. But then I think that's why some folk also do this premiere stuff where they get like the first 2 minutes, it's nobody's there to let people filter in that as well. But I didn't
yeah, I
really
don't
keep.
know how I
I
could
don't
do
know.
that. I was sitting there thinking about that. How would I get like even and people wouldn't even get notified for one. Unless but then it's like trying to explain that. But because I was sitting there thinking, I was like, we can do the same thing what we're doing right now, for instance, but I wouldn't be live. Everything would be backstage in a sense. And but the only thing is, like everybody can still talk in the chat, but they wouldn't see us up on the panel talking. But they could still chat amongst themselves, for instance, and we can see the chat and we can sit there and comment in the chat. You know what I mean? But it would just be like, everything that we're doing up here on the panel, for instance, just be, off air kind of talking. Just, we wouldn't have to worry about the censorship kind of like coming after us, that kind of the censor police type bullshit. You know what I mean? Because it's not live in public. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Hmm.
It's an idea.
Yeah, it's thinkable, man. You know, I'm not too sure. I mean, it's hard to get information out if nobody's listening. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. No, I mean, but just like um, but even then, it'd be like just majorly like just on the panels and stuff. What's talked about on the panels, for instance.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
anybody can pop in, like just pushing the link, and then you can be backstage. And if I got like up to 6 people on a panel, but then that's another thing I was sitting there thinking too. It kind of bypassed using up my hours. You
Well, I
know.
believe Restream is unlimited.
Yeah. I'm not. See, the thing is about Restream, man, I've been having problems with the mobile devices hooking up to it.
Ah, you should try setting your MTU size on the mobile device, or if you're using a VPN on the mobile device, which you probably will be, go into your settings and change it to small packets. Yeah.
Oh, is that like a desktop type setting?
MTU rate, if you've not got the VPN, right, every device when it connects to whatever it connects, whether it be mobile network, Wi-Fi, regardless, right, you get what's known as an MTU rate. I can't remember the exact terminology, but it basically means the chunk size that you're pulling in or putting out. If that makes sense. And
Yeah.
sometimes you get a lot of sometimes lag or buffering on other platforms, like for example Kodi and whatnot. Yeah. And a lot of that's no due to cache settings or whatever else. Regardless of what you set, it'll still happen. It's due to the chunk size that the device, the network adapter, is communicating. So if you put smaller chunks, then it'll get through better and put together at the other end easier. If that makes sense, rather than so much being missing. If that makes sense, aye.
I think so. Yeah, I think
It,
so. I mean,
it,
I'm analog, dude, man. When it comes down, oh man, it takes me a while to figure out like computer shit. When it
Well,
comes
if you
to,
want, the easiest way to think about it, right, is analog to digital compression. Yeah,
yeah,
you get more channels doing the
yeah,
more analog channels doing the digital wavelength, right? So
yeah.
that's what you're doing. You're basically by lowering the MTU size, you're able to chunk more. You're able to chuck more chunks through, basically.
Okay, I think I
Another way
know.
to imagine it is try to fit something that's too large through the letterbox. You'll get it through if it's a jumper, for example. It'll just take you ages to push it through. But if you could have ripped that in half and stuck it through, it'd go through a lot quicker. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Uh,
But if you've got a VPN, set the VPN to the lower chunk rate, and that will solve most people's problems. Because the VPN takes over what is a network sort of side of things, the data, TXRX basically, for lack of a better word.
all right. So what do you got going on over there? It's about afternoon time over there. Or was it?
Yeah, man, just after two now. So like I said, I'm just drinking latte mocha, and I'm going to get a haircut, and then when I come back, finish
Right
painting
on.
lines with my wall, or do a quick half water change in the two tropical tanks.
Right on. Yeah. So what are you gonna get? Mohawk?
No, I didn't get a mohawk. Not anymore. No, I go to one side. It's high at one side. I didn't really like really long hair, but I didn't mind it being longer at the top. If that
Right.
makes sense. I prefer it
Yeah.
like high and tight at the sides. Old habits, as I'll call it. You know what I mean? So no, it was just the same style. I didn't really change it much. As long as it's easy to maintain, isn't it? Who wants to spend all their time doing their hair?
I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do have a feminine side, but it's not doing my hair. So apart from that, not a lot.
I've had long hair pretty much all my life, man. But I've had to cut it a couple of times. But
I mean, when I was younger, I used to have a middle part on a Cecil, with a 0.5 undercut, and it used to come down to probably about my cheek height, you know, and it'd be all undercut to a standard blend and fade in kind of haircut. But when I first joined the forces, they shaved it all off. I'm shocked. I've never had longer hair since, so you know what I mean. It's just it is what it is. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
think I didn't think I'd ever want to replicate that feeling, losing my what I regarded as long hair, because it was quite long hair unless you were a mosher or anything like that when I was growing up. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or you had one of the 80s, 70s, 80s UK's long hair perm type things, and I wouldn't be getting that. But no, I still remember the feeling when it all like. I just felt it when I was gutted, like, oh, oh. It's true though, isn't it? You know what I mean? If you've got long hair, once it all gets cut off, it's a bit of a culture shock, isn't it? You know what I mean? I don't know if you've ever
Mm.
had it cut off, you know what I mean? But I never ever went back. It took ages to get hair that long.
Yeah, I used to have, like I said, at one time, man, I had it almost all the way down to the middle of my back. Well, past the middle of my back, actually, almost down to like the bottom half of my back. And but I got in a motorcycle accident, man. They ended up cutting out a shitload off, so I had to grow all that stuff back. It's not quite as long as it used to be, but it's getting there. But I don't really cut it all that often either.
So anything bad happen in a motorbike accident apart from getting your hair cut off?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, most of it is just uh, stitches and a broke nose and shit. But I was like, it was like I was trying to take the side of his truck out with my face. So yeah, that's what it ended
Sorry,
up being. It was like
sorry for laughing. That
yeah,
sounds brutal.
it was like it was like a four-way type crossroad. And all right,
Oh,
so he just kind of crept through the damn intersection, and I was like, I just came. It was basically, I locked right in on him. I couldn't I didn't think I had enough to get in front of him or enough to get behind him. So it's like I locked right in on him, and it was like T-boned it, and
oof.
yeah, and I was out for like 30 minutes, from what I understand, and then they threw me in a helicopter and life flighted me to a hospital, but mostly like a little bit of, like somewhat like I guess plastic surgery, but it was mostly like scars and um, stuff like that. And I got some what they call severe whiplash in certain areas, like my shoulders and
Mhm.
my wrists and shit like that.
Yeah.
But I'm lucky in some ways because the way I see it anyway, because I've known two other guys that were in motorcycle wrecks that weren't even as bad as the one I was in, and they didn't make it. You know what I mean? They died. So I was like,
Yeah,
for
it's
some
it's a
reason, I'm
bit.
still sitting around. I'm still around. I'm still
Uh,
walking that way.
when your
And
numbers up, your numbers up. You know, at the end of the
yeah,
day,
for sure, for
it
sure.
is. It is. It is your, especially when it comes to like fast collisions and stuff like that. It is your Donald Duck. If you get what I mean, it might be the slightest the accidents, but just how you hit it, you just hit it perfect for
Yeah,
you know a lemony snicket seriously miss unfortunate events for what
yeah,
happens when you take your tumble or how it gets tangled up or whatever. You know what I mean?
Jay, yeah. Jay was like, well, the bike that I wrecked was it 1981 or 82, 81 or 82? I can't remember right offhand. Like a Honda Goldwing. It was like the first year they made the Goldwing. That was what I had, but it was all stripped down to like bare bones, like a, um,
Like a bat out of hell.
yeah, it was. I got spoiled because it's a shaft driven too, and now the one I got now that actually is still sitting and it needs repairs and all that shit too, but it's chain driven. I just got really spoiled with the shaft driven though. But I don't know, like the one I got now, it's what is it, the Kawasaki what do you call it, Vulcan Classic, and it's just sitting under my pole barn rotting away. Really needs a lot of work. I'd like to get back on that bike, man. I love riding a bike.
So does that mean we're going to get to see Wingnut restoring a bike all by himself on the cheap?
Say what now?
does that mean we're going to get to see wingnut restoration of a bike?
Yeah, well, dude, I don't know, man. One of these days, see, I needs work. I actually, man, I need to get tires for it, and it's been sitting so long. So actually, I need to probably do a lot of the gas lines and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and maybe even do some work with the gas tank, and the carburetor needs work. Um, and my dog needs to shut the fuck up.
That
Anyway,
that or a shit.
yeah. I don't know. She barking at shadows out there, I guess. But
You have a
and
tendency
then
to do that, Doug.
let's see here. I need a few things done to it. You know what I mean? And then there's like it's been sitting so long. All the leather on the seats and stuff like that, and all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff needs to be either cleaned majorly if it's still okay, or um,
You can revive a lot of stuff like that.
say
You
what?
know, you can revive a lot of leather if it's
Some of
decent
it, yeah,
leather. If
probably.
it's decent, you know,
Some
if
of
the
it,
leather's got the best way to test is like there's two types of leather in mine. Well, there's more than two types, right? You know what I mean? You get fake leather, there's really bad leather, but decent leather. There's two types. There's one where if you put water on it, and that water doesn't seep in at all, it just stays like a barrier. If you know what I mean, like it would be if you put it on a bit of cling film, like a droplet.
right?
But if it does seep, if it stays as a droplet, you can't really revive the leather, really, if you know what I mean, because
Yeah.
the
Well,
moisture that you want to put back in, it
that's what
will not get in. You know what
that's
I
what I'm
mean?
afraid of on some of it, man. Where I'm just not. I'm gonna have to replace it or something because it's been sitting out there for a while. It's under a pole barn. I mean, it's on a majority basis is out of the weather, but hold on, let me see what the hell she's barking at.
Wait, what a minute. It does sound like your chihuahua, Jade. No, it would be a no bad wee project as well, wouldn't it, Jade? Especially if the guy can strip a car and rebuild it. You know what I mean? Gas pipe, gas linings. Nah, just change it really, if it can be changed.
What is it? What are you barking at? What are you doing, baby girl? What are you doing? Coming in? Anyway, my
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, Jojo. It's called small dog syndrome. How you doing? Okay. So
Yeah.
somebody was asking because they said that your dog sounds like their Chihuahua. What kind of dog you got?
Oh, well, that was the mama dog. She's she's half. Her mom was German Shepherd. Her dad was a Blue Heeler, so she's a mix of the two. She
Right.
looks kind of like coyote, like a coyote. That's what she looks like. But she had six pups not so long ago. I found homes for two of them, but I still got four of them. And,
Oof.
so I've got five dogs at the moment.
You've got a sleigh team, man.
Yeah, but yeah, at the moment, I've got two of them. I got two of the females, and I got three females altogether if you include the mom. But I got two females in the house, and the rest of them all want to run around outside.
That's not too bad. Mine, mine just like follows me every room I go, literally. You know what I mean? But that's a collie for you, Ken. Probably a bit like
Yeah,
a collie dog, don't they? You know what I mean? But five dogs, oof, I couldn't handle that, man. It's hard enough with one dog and a cat.
yeah. Well, I would like to. I mean, I actually kind of need to whittle it down to one, and I'm thinking about just keeping the firstborn male, or that was actually the firstborn period, but
Hmm.
keeping him, and then the mother and the other pups just trying to find homes for them.
Hmm.
That's what I'm trying to whittle it down, but I don't know. It's just it's hasn't been that easy, the longer it is, the older they get, the bigger they are. I mean, they're
The
not
lesser, the
big, but I
lesser
mean,
gone.
they're just turning into dogs. They're not pups anymore.
Aye. A lot of folk will know what to take on new type of dog, but at least buy them anyway, at least because they want the puppy, eh? They want the puppy, they want to train it, they want to, you know what I mean? At the end of the day.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're still young. I mean, I think they're only like with 8 months, not yeah, about 8 months old or something. Since May, that's when they were born, in May.
Mm.
So
Yeah, yeah, man. Mhm.
hey 1A 2A, yeah. Good luck to you, man. Don't let them bend you over and give it to you up the butt. Please don't let them do that.
He's a way to play that game he wants, eh?
Yeah.
Your system's getting a bit like our system now. Well, our system's getting more like your system now, anyway. Well, at least Scotland's is.
It's the
You
whole
know how you.
goddamn thing is fucked.
Well, we've got the same system now where our equivalent to the DA, they make all the deals, you know, and it's all back room stuff now, just like it is in the States, you know. Even though they have the evidence and that, they want people to take kind of plea bargains and all the rest of it. You actually get letters sent asking you to pay a fine without giving you any real information about what you've seemingly done, based upon the premise that most people they'll plea bargain, won't they? They'll plead out, eh? If you get what I
Yeah.
mean, or they'll take the monetary value even though they didn't actually comprehend what they've done. Unfortunately, and the lawyers all sit there and get rich and say, yeah, this is the easiest option, because they get their minimum payment, and they've got 13 cases one day that they didn't even need to speak about. It's quite weird, eh? You know what I mean? I never thought we'd see the day where we'd have a kind of American law system over here. Because
Well,
your system is a bit. I mean, I know the law can be an ass, but I mean, how many
well,
donkeys do you need?
yeah. Well, I when the first people were starting to colonize over here, it's not what the system that they all agreed upon. Basically, it was kind of like common knowledge, common law, common natural law. It was kind of almost unspoken in a way. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
you think about it, like when at that time, that was before all this, the Constitution and all that stuff was written.
Yeah,
Where it got fucked is after that was written. I mean, pretty much immediately after that, it's been systematically, fucked over a few times, just because they've made legislation that contradicts or goes completely against what they just fucking wrote down in the Constitution.
yeah.
And they've been doing that from the beginning, almost immediately right afterwards,
Hmm.
and changing the whole damn thing. It's like they continually talk about, oh, this is so bad, we can't let this destroy our democracy. And it's like, wait a minute, it's not a fucking democracy, you know what I mean, for one. And they
Yeah,
continue to do that over and over again, and then they're like trying to promote democracy over into these other fucking countries and shit.
yeah,
Oh, we're
yeah.
going to transplant and we're going to give them democracy and all. What the fuck, what in
You
in
rebelled
in
against
our
democracy.
name, in our name doing this,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they're the government. They're like, and they're doing that. It's in our name, and that's fucked up too. Because, like, for instance, now they're creating all these enemies. Every time they kill somebody over in one of these other countries, they're creating two more fucking enemies. All right, and
yeah,
every time it's like another one pops up, another one pops up, another, because you fucking, the more you kill, the more you fight, the more you end up making. And
yeah.
and then
It's
and
like
then
whack-a-mole, isn't it?
well, yeah, for real. And then the thing is, man, and and you think about it, like, for instance, like, okay, you got American forces coming into a country, which, I mean, or like, even if it was another whatever, but I'm just using, like, you have American forces coming into a country. these people, I'm sure they have the right to live just like anyone else, and they probably have the right to defend themselves and their homes and families and whatever. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
this is another thing too. Uh, you you fucking oh shit, I forgot where I was going with that. But uh, anyway, what if in any invading force, no matter what, if it was to do the same thing in your country, makes me wonder what people would do. Would they fight like that?
Yeah.
And but the thing is, but when we do it, like for instance, American forces goes into there. All right, now they're hating the whole thing of America. Not just like the government that actually did it to them. They hate everybody, or I'm assuming. I had nothing to do with it. You know,
Hmm.
I'm just sitting here. It's like leave me out of it. That kind of shit. You can bang and all them all you want. The ones that actually did it, go for it. Take off. You know what I mean. You can hate them. The ones that actually did the sent down the orders for the American forces just to obey these orders, and they went and you got all these military doing the job. You know what I mean. But the ones that sent the orders, hell, they're the ones that are responsible, man. Be mad at them. I didn't have nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get that. I get that. But whether we like it or not, like you say, things get done in everybody's name. There is a thing where people say they're following orders, but as somebody who's followed orders, I do
Right.
know that I don't have to follow orders that I deem are not right
Right.
or inhumane. I mean, that was the answer at Nuremberg, eh? I was just following orders, and everybody said, I don't give a fuck,
Exactly. But I'm sitting there thinking that too. And
you
it's
know?
like, in a sense, we're going to have to probably have our own version of the Nuremberg Charles. We're going to have to do that for ourselves. I mean,
Mm,
for real. I mean, because, we can't ask the fucking government to do it to themselves. We're going to have
hmm.
to do it ourselves we'll
Yeah.
have our own version of it, in a sense. Because,
Hmm.
like, for instance, here in America, that Pucci, whatever you want to fucking fuck, dude, that motherfucker needs to be put on, because on his watch, under his stuff is like there's people that have died on, and he needs to
Uh,
be held accountable for war crimes, or in a sense, crimes against humanity. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, I mean, that's why Dr. Francis Kelly highlighted all the medical papers that he did, eh? Right at the
Right.
start,
I'm just,
you know?
and then he's not the only one. You know what
Oh
I'm
no,
saying?
no, 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 no. He's not the only one, but
For
he
real.
was the first. He was the first one for real to come out
Yeah.
and go to this page, go to
Yeah.
there, and download the paper and read it yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody else had said, "Oh, I'd seen stuff, they had read stuff, and they maybe thought about stuff." He was the only one that came on and went, "Really? Well, there's this, 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 and this. Go and download it, make your own fucking choice. But here's my opinion." And watch everybody start getting arrested for breaking the laws that I fucking writ, motherfucker. That's pretty much how it went down. But I believe he's dead now, eh? Like, killed himself and that. Slit his arms
Yeah.
and all that kind of malarkey.
Yeah. Yeah. Mysterious. Allegedly. Whatever.
Yeah, yeah. It happens all the time. It's not just America.
Yeah, I know. I know.
In the
I'm well
70s,
aware of.
there was a staunch Scottish independence supporter, and he left his work early on the Friday, and he was found dead, shot himself in the head twice, and threw away the gun 5 meters away from the car guys. But he had committed suicide. I'm not too sure how he shot himself in the head twice and then managed to throw the gun away. But that was in
Well,
the late 70s, you
of
know.
course.
So
He was a zombie for about a split second, and then he died. Yeah, yeah, that was it. That was it. It took a while for the bullet to get to the right part of his brain to kill him, but he was a zombie for that, like split, just long enough to throw the gun. That's what it
well,
was.
do you know what I
Yeah.
thought? Right, straight away, right? I thought that's a magic gun, right? Yeah,
Oh, a magic gun.
a magic gun, and I was wondering if it was the same gun that done Kennedy's magic bullet. Then I realised it's not the right caliber. It mustn't be.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
yeah,
the
yeah.
same shooter I thought though. Maybe
Definitely,
it's the
yeah,
same
different.
shooter.
Yeah,
That's what it was. That
yeah.
Scottish independence guy felt so guilty.
I hear you, dude. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go even playing golf or anything that with that guy. I wouldn't want to do anywhere near him. If he had a gun anywhere near him, I wouldn't want to. Because you
I
never,
had,
dude. That's the thing. It's like I honestly, dude. if I was in the same if I was in the same position, for instance, like okay, let's say we were out doing this and that, and all right, I'm sure they would try and figure out how to put me in jail anyway, no matter what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If the same exact scenario happened to me, but it wasn't it was me that was in his position, but I wasn't like I didn't have his title. It was just me as me, dude.
Right.
Yeah, they probably put me in the jail faster than shit. You know, they'll figure out a way.
Aye, it happens all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's a
that's
different
what.
world we live in now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or at least they think it is. Or it is for them. Because they seem to be untouchable, eh?
Well, yeah. See, well, check this out. See, I'm not. I don't know how to code, but I was sitting there thinking about it. Although all those assets that they have digitally, that can all be tampered with and hacked and all that shit, just like anybody else, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
shit.
of course.
I mean, you know, they have some of them. They got some really high, high crypto. You know, there's some companies out there for those Fortune 500 type companies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can get past some of that shit, you know what I mean, dude. All that. Can you imagine? All it was kind of like a Robin Hood thing. You know, steal from the rich, give to the poor. Um, you know what I mean? I was sitting there
Yeah.
thinking about it. I was like, dude, I don't have that capability, but I'm serious. That would be interesting to see because then they would have to rely on their physical assets. You know what I mean? But think about it. If they were brought back down to like our level, for instance, and where it's an even playing field scenario, can
Mm-hmm.
you imagine? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, that's not going to happen, right?
Yeah, I
Just for
know.
the simple, just for
I'm
the
think
simple
I'm
reason.
thinking like
Um,
I'm like a sci-fi novel or even like a movie.
well,
You know, that would be cool for like a movie like script or something. You know?
yeah, yeah, I get that. I mean, but like the way things are going to do with Internet 2.0 that they told us a long time ago, right? Now, what they actually told us about this, if I remember correctly, it was about 12 years ago. And as soon as they told us, I thought, fucking hell, right? They turned around and
Yeah.
says, right, we'll be able to get back any account you've had stolen. Any account you've had hacked, we'll get it back for you. All we need to ken is your name. Right? That was
Yeah.
it. That was the only requirement they had. Now everybody went, "Ooh, that sounds good." I thought, wow, they can pinpoint any account you've ever made, even the hidden ones.
Well,
They
that's
know
the thing. It's
exactly
like
who you are, and they know who you are for the last fucking 10, 12 years.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. But
that's the reason why they are allowing the bad encryption.
yeah.
Yeah? You
Well,
get
that's
what I
the
mean?
thing. It's like that's the thing. It's like if I yeah, exactly. I know what you're talking about. But that's the thing. It's like
It's the next stepping stone.
if I was that high tech coder guy, boy, I'd have some fucking shit set up, boy. You know, yeah, you know, I
There's leaks that happen daily. Aye, whether or not people get them nowadays is a different story. They can literally attack hash codes, share numbers, and
yeah,
that's what you do to verify that what you've downloaded is the correct file. Yeah, aye, these hashes. They can search these hashes out online and just zap everything.
right,
You get what I mean?
yeah,
It's the same algorithms they used to get your account back that they told you about all those years ago.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
why do you think you've not got your account back yet? Because they need the system that you're operating in, yeah, Internet 1.2, aye, they need you to operate on that, yeah, and it to become a shitstorm. And then they'll create the problem, give the solution. The solution gives them the exact same thing they have now, full trackability and control over all your metadata. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, unless you did a think it matters. You know what I mean? Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah,
It's all of these spider webs that build up a profile. Aye, and your digital profile is it's unique to you, realistically. You
right,
can have
right,
as many people clone you or whatever, but they'll never be perfect. And the computer systems can spot that shit. You know, AI does every bit of the government in the UK's benefit system, all the applications, everything. It's catching everybody for fraud and all of that because people lie in the applications, but they get asked the same questions. It's a bit like when you interrogate somebody, you'll ask the same question 5 times, but 5 different ways. And if you get 5 different answers, you continue your line of questioning. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
It's just done
See,
in repetitive forms.
I'm a visual type of person to try and understand stuff, so it takes me a minute to like try and visualize it
Yeah,
in my head, buddy.
yeah, man, it's all good. You know what I mean? But that's how the system works. You know what I mean? And it doesn't make a
Yeah.
difference what part of the system you're in. You know, it might just be your mobile phone, but your mobile phone's going to
Yeah.
give a format.
Yeah.
Everything you do, every number, every contact,
Yeah.
everybody connects their contacts to their Facebook, which
Well, like,
funny
I mean,
enough.
there's this technology that like even some some police departments around the country's got it, but it's called a stingray, where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like where it kind of mimics a cell tower and stuff, so it intercepts everybody's everything. You know what I mean? When it comes down to
yeah,
the
yeah,
cell,
yeah,
it's it's pretty crazy, man, and and they do it in the guise of, oh, it's like against terrorism and all this other shit, but really
yeah, yeah,
it doesn't have like it's not prejudice. It's basically it will pick up everything and everybody. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Within
It's
range. Yeah.
mass collection.
Yeah.
Mass collection, basically. Aye.
Yeah.
We use the same system in the UK, but in the UK we have mobile phone networks, right? And they installed Hawaii devices in them all. 30% of the UK's mobile network
With that
communication. Yeah,
Chinese
but
thing.
yeah. They did all that, and the 30% they said it's all right. It's only 30% of the network we're paying, and that's basically everybody, all the civilians use, basically in the UK. So you have a system where you find you have redundant masts in your own home areas, everywhere in the UK, right? And the data going through them than the used ones. So what think's happening there? That redundant mast is obviously a stinger mast there, and it's just implemented, and it's just data wide different,
Right.
grabbing a lot. There's more
Yeah.
data going through that because all these masts communicate with each other, don't they? That's how their
Yeah.
actual triangulation works, right?
Right.
Yeah. So if they all communicate, why is there more data going through the redundant masts?
Yeah.
That means, I don't mean like overcapacity, basically, yeah?
Well, I
Good
mean
to
that's
go high network 8 times, yeah? But which means they're
starting to
getting
break
used
up a little bit,
24/7.
Joe. Starting to
I
break
says,
up
but
a little
there's more
bit.
data going through them.
Yeah.
I said there's more data going through there's more data going through the so-called redundant extra capacity masts for certain networks than what there is for the standard masts that are getting used,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
if these redundant masts for extra capacity's got more data going through them, right? Why is that? Because the standard masts are not running at full capacity. They're running at like 50 to 60%. So why is the extra data going through, which is actually more than the standard? Because obviously somebody else is using that, eh? More than
Yeah, for
likely
sure.
GCHQ.
Well, some of those actually, I think they're even being connected by the was it fiber optics. So I mean, there's going to be a little bit more
Yep, but we're implementing
compressed
through.
data.
Yeah, we're implementing through fibre across all the networks. Even the copper
Yeah,
line networks are getting changed
yeah,
into fibre. Our original fibre network, that's now called Virgin Media, used to be like aerial and satellite, and a few other places like Atlantic and stuff like that. Cable
right.
Wireless, NTL, basically the same as Comcast over there. But
Yeah,
what we have that for its original role was basically it was the government's communications.
yeah,
It was what we used to run all our radar system and early warning
yeah,
system during the Second World War. It just got repurposed and
yeah,
privatised later. So fibre optics, again, it's old technology, but it's decades old. That'll get used the exact same way, and they're all interlinked here now, eh? You
yeah,
know, everything. It's all interlinked up. Everybody everywhere in the world's all interlinked up, whether we like it or not. There's big underwater cables that join my country to your country, and that's why we monitor you and you monitor us.
yeah.
They outsource it between each other, eh? Cousins
Yeah.
and that, you know. And that's how the Will Carlin, Princess Diana leak tape came out, it was the FBI that recorded that, if I remember correctly. That was the English rubber pairs of Flair with Princess Diana.
Oh man, I remember when that happened. I remember where I was at that time. That's crazy.
That was the FBI. It was the FBI that leaked that tape. It was
Oh
the
yeah.
FBI that was it was the FBI that was recording them for us, I believe.
Oh,
But I think
fuck.
it's written in your constitution. You're not really supposed to be allowed to be recorded by your government, really, somewhere.
Not the government on itself, and I guess, but and if that's not when it comes down to us, the boss.
Mhm.
See that's how it was originally intended before it's been corrupted since it was written. But that was how it was intended. Is like we the people are the
Yep,
boss. They're the servants. They serve
yep,
us. All
yep.
right. And the thing is, man, and they've been trying to they've ever since the beginning they've been trying to flip that to where the government's the boss and we're just the servants, so the serf. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
we're the ones that just supposed to to labor and put in and have the earnings of our labor being stolen from it to pay for it and used against us and all this other shit. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. I was sitting there thinking about it. It's like, oh, all right, you know how like the countries over there in a sense, and how there's different counties and different countries and stuff like that. It almost reminds me of how the states and inside the U.S. is turning out to some of these governors and stuff turning out to like thinking they're kings, and these like governors in like New York, for instance, thinks he's a fucking king, and he can do whatever the fuck he wants, and all these cops are just gonna do what they're told, and blah blah blah. It almost reminds me of like the little tiny different like territories all over England and Europe or whatever, and
mhm.
you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It
Well, I
just
mean,
it's like we've got our own scenario all in this country. It could be they're trying to make it where it'll almost make it down to the point where each state would just go back to our sovereign basically capacity where we're just a bunch of sovereigns that live in each state,
mhm.
and instead of say fuck you to the union thing and get rid of the fed shit altogether and just go back to states, and then it would be like each individual state would be its own sovereign nation. You know what I mean? It could get to that point.
I don't think they'll allow it to get to that point.
Who cares what they who do you think will not allow it? Who?
Well, you can either think of the powers that be or the majority people out there. You know, there'll
I
be a
don't know.
lot of even if you try to broach that subject, right?
Yeah,
Like what happens in the UK, like in Scotland once independence, for example, right?
yeah,
Try and broach it, then the
yeah.
game of fear mongering comes out to play. And whether you like it or not, past events and past mainstream media fucking campaigns against certain things, yeah, cupcakes, for
What?
example, prove that fact. The amount of people that have just been willing to go and get cupcaked up for what? So they can go on holiday. So they can go to the pub.
Yeah, yeah.
You get what I mean?
Well, see,
As
that's
a
the thing,
test,
man. It's like like I said, there's some people out there, like that I'm serious. There's some people out there that they could get pushed to the edge where they don't want the cupcakes, so they're just getting like it's better off to just kill themselves instead of like dealing with all this fucking restrictions to the point where they can't even live a life like they normally did before before all
of
this
course, and
started.
that's some people out there, which I think might be right, say that that's part of the game, part of the play.
Well, okay. I mean, it's always a good idea to have a backup, but that's not what you start with. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, but
Well, if you think about it, right, if you expect the worst and everything else is all right, if you get what I mean, yeah.
yeah. Well,
If you
that's the
take a
thing.
play as they gave you the worst,
Yeah.
and they're only going to pull back so far, you'll think it's all right. They're not going to let you go back to normal. Otherwise, they wouldn't be telling
Well,
you that
no.
there's
I
no
mean,
normal.
it was never even really normal. It's just what we were used to and what we grew up
Aye,
in.
but that's what normal actually is. Is like people ask, what do you classify as normal? It's different for everybody because
Right.
everybody's objective. Normality is unique because it's unique to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everybody skirts around the same kind of diameter realistically, if that makes sense. Because
Oh
normal
yeah.
is a 360-degree thing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
the folk that didn't think things are normal, or the folk that aren't normal, for lack of a better word, they're like the other side of the road, eh? If that makes sense. Yeah. Aye.
Right.
But let's be honest, most people's normal, it's pretty much been left alone and being able just to do the mundane things, if that's honest. Because most people do not much, don't they, on a daily basis? If that makes sense. I mean, if you take away your sleeping and your working and what you actually do, okay, just for you, it's generally not a lot compared to what you're doing within the confines of the system, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
man.
you're not your job, you're not your work, are you? You know what I mean? I mean,
Exactly. You know, I mean,
people
that's
live
nothing too.
people live to
Yeah.
work now, not work to
Well, see,
live.
that's
If
the
you get
thing.
what I mean?
It's like, all right. Well, that's the thing too. It's like, for a lot of people, that's how they define themselves is their work or whatever they do for a living, for instance.
Yep,
And the reality, that's where it's coming down to, where almost everything, every job can be replaced and probably will be in the near future with
next
robots of
decade,
some kind.
next decade,
All right,
next
all right.
decade, 10 years.
And then you think about it, it's like, all right, now they're already talking about, like, okay, what do we do with, like, people wanting to buy stuff? Well, they're talking about that universal basic income stuff. All right.
Yep,
But then you start thinking about, all right, when they, a lot of people, they define themselves through that, and they ain't got that no more. And they,
yep.
what, then it's like, okay, what's their purpose in life? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them will start thinking that, and it's like, okay, what's my purpose? It's all I mean, I don't
Now,
work no more, and
yeah,
or I never,
well, there is an argument. There is an argument for that, right? Yeah, and that is that we might have a more enlightened period again because people
yeah,
are free to think more rather than being herded like cattle in a PAYE system. But there'll always be jobs regardless, you know. But whether or not, like for every robot that replaces, you're going to need for every three somebody to be able to look after them, mate. Do you get what I mean? That makes sense,
to a
right?
point, man. Because I mean, honestly, eventually, man, it'll get to the point where the robots will actually be able to modify and repair themselves. You wouldn't even need an actual human intervention. Even that be autonomous.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah, no. I get what you're saying, but
Yeah.
that's like I'm not 100% too sure that it's a good idea or a bad idea. I've seen some of the automated systems that are available right now for like farmers to cherry pick and all this kind of stuff, and
All
you
right.
know what I mean. Some of them are actually like superb, but technology can always hinder or help. Realistically, how it's going to pan out for us as a human being state, that's still up for contention or debate, really, if you get what I mean. I don't think it's going to be good in the short term, but it might work out not too bad in the long term, depending on how the applications are applied. But through
Well,
past experience, we know that it's probably not going to be applied the best way for us. It'll be the best way for the corporations, which means we probably will lose out in the end game. Eh?
see, the thing is, that's what evil's doing right now. They're
Mm-hmm.
playing the long con, the long game.
Yep,
That's what they're
it's a
playing
long
right
game.
now.
Yeah, man.
All right, all right.
Well,
So
listen, if I get cut off, it's just because my power on my battery's about to go. But I'll let it just
yeah,
run
no
all the way
worries.
down anyway. All
No
right.
worries. No worries. Hey, man. I mean, do what you got to do, whatever you got to do, man. That's all right.
I'm standing
Like I
outside
said,
the hairdressers. I do.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just somebody in the chair, eh? So I'm just waiting. Smoke a fag and speak to you,
Right
and
on,
then I'll
right
go
on.
in.
Yeah. But yeah. Since they're playing the long game, all right. I'm trying to figure out and see. I don't know. I only know a little bit about certain types of tactics and stuff like that and all that stuff. I'm like how we should probably go how we should play it, how we probably could look at it. I mean, trying to look at different types of stuff, and there's some things that I can tell you that I can. It almost looks like I can already tell you what some things are their playbook on how they're playing it, but. Um, because I mean, they do that anyway. They just basically tell us. But, oh, Joe, he took off. Right on. Morning, Gregory. Or afternoon. Or actually, it's afternoon time, I think, over where you're at, I think. So I'm hoping some skip from across the pond will come in this morning. I'm hoping. Well, I kind of agree with that in a way there, JoJo. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what my um what exactly is the end game for mine is, because everybody's got we're put on this planet for a reason. I I know I'm not put on this planet to sit back and fucking be an obedient worker and pay taxes and just like, comply with some assholes that think they can rule over us. That is, I can tell you that's not what I'm put on this planet to do. Um, but there's some questions on like exactly the end game of what I'm trying to do and what I'm here trying to do. I guess you would say. I've got an internal drive to communicate with people somehow. So kind of like back in the day when everyone was like, yeah, here in America, the British are coming, the British are coming, warning everybody. Yeah, for real. I don't think that majority of the people on this planet um, really want or deserve any of this crap that's happening to us, and it's being forced onto us with violence, one form or another, just different forms of it, and I think in a sense our gift of free will is either just letting it happen or not letting it happen, pretty much. And I guess we got to look inside ourselves and figure out how we're gonna deal with and do what we're gonna do when it comes down to like either letting it happen or not letting it happen. And I understand it's like we're just individual people, because I mean I'm just my own individual myself. I mean, it's not like I got like a whole like brigade of people sitting around me and kind of guard me and uh, and they're all like protecting me and shit like that. It's not like I have that. So if it was really, if any of the stuff that I talk about or actually have conversations about and they just wanted to swoop in, like, with their damn black helicopter, and just kind of take in, do like a SWAT team type maneuver, and just, yeah. I mean, it happens all the damn time, that kind of stuff. But if there's like everybody are doing it in a sense, like where it's like, you know, if everybody was like on that herd mentality of freedom and that wildfire of freedom and spreading everywhere, they can't stop all of us. They can try to pick us off one by one, but they can't stop all of us, man. We outnumber them. Eventually, the people that are just following orders will realize that their morality and their humanity has been shot to shit, and you know, and then hopefully some of them will wake up. But then, I mean, you think about it, you know what I mean? If they don't really, if they're just willing to just let their humanity and their morality and all that stuff just go out the window, and they're completely following orders, they're the enemy anyway. No matter if they're whatever, you know, they're the enemy of the people. Just wanting to live and life with freedom and happiness. Motivational tricks, tactics, motivation tactics. Yeah. Well, kind of, and that's the thing. It's like having that herd mentality of freedom. Because honestly, if we could focus all that energy that's definitely not focused in the right direction. If it was all focused in the direction it needed to be focused, fucking A, man. You know damn well that's what they're thinking, quote unquote. Them, they. You know what they're doing. They're thinking that shit too, trying to turn all that energy against us instead of against the true enemy. What is it? There's like something in the was it the art of war. Sun Tzu is like, yeah, you must know yourself and your enemy, and you will be undefeated in all occasions. All right, and if you only know yourself and you don't know your enemy, you will only be successful some of the time. And then if you do not know yourself or your enemy, you will never be successful. All right, you know. Anyway, what's going on?
How you doing? You're not, can you
How
hear
are
me
you
okay?
doing? Yep, I hear you fine.
I'm good. No, it's just like You get stuck in the same O, right? Let's say you take the same routine to work, and then one day there's a tree in the way or something. Revert and go a different direction. Well, you would have never have experienced that different direction possibly if that tree hadn't fallen, right?
Right, right.
So I believe that's what they're doing in a roundabout sense.
Yeah, I hear you. Kind of like pushing us into a corner.
Mm, possibly, but they always cause an uprising. You know,
Mm, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, chaos, order out of chaos, for instance. They got to create the chaos
hmm
first, you know,
yep,
or put everybody into a state of chaos. That's what I have a gut feeling that, like, like when the towers came down, like I have a gut feeling that the next time something like anything like that, it's gonna be, um, it's it's gonna be like a glass. It would be compared to like a glass of milk. That would be nothing. That would be nothing compared to what in my gut tells me is coming soon. I don't know how soon. I don't know what it is, but it's just like my gut keeps on telling me it's like right around the corner. Be ready. Um,
possibly.
and there's all kinds of stuff that's going on around the world right now too. When it comes down to how a lot of the governments are actually kind of tightening their fits like all over the place, and they're all kind of like in lockstep with all this like build back better crap, and it's just not only that, all that stuff is going on up in the Ukraine with Russia, and the U.S. government wants to get into it. Those missiles are being launched out there in like the was it North Korea or South China Sea out there and stuff like that. I don't know, man. Even like that stuff, that volcano that happened out there and that created that tsunami. So that's even something. I mean, even the satellite images look very suspicious, but I'm not a geologist and all that shit, so I don't know if that's actually. It very well could be just a natural occurrence, but I don't know. Um,
It's possible. Do we think it's going to take out Cali?
no, no. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's really did a whole lot once it hit the actually California and all that stuff. But I was thinking if it, I don't know, possibility. Like for instance, like some of these things that are actually just ready to pop anyway, naturally. But if they could be artificially inseminated, for instance, and made to go off early, or
Kind of.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
they've been talking about that for a while.
well, it makes me wonder. I mean, for instance, if it was like a test or something. Um, but like I said, that's all just up in the air shit. But I was looking at like I said, I was looking at the satellite imaging that that's out there, and just uh, I don't know, just kind of look odd for some reason. So it made a doubt in my mind. So that's all. But it made me also wonder about like the possibilities if it was, for instance, artificial or artificially inseminated. How I'm saying it, um, or artificially induced. Um, possibilities doing that to something that like a super volcano. You know, no worries, Jojo. Good to meet you, girl. Good to meet you. Maybe when everything gets up better. But yeah. Yeah. Let's see, let's turn this back up over here.
Carousel can't be good on the body, that's for sure. Hell no. That's not good at all. Feel like I've been in a 15-round fight. Yeah, because you have to use all your damn muscles just to stay in the seat. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, you go on out there, drive. I'm turning. 10-4, thank you. This little feller must be late. Yeah, he don't watch it. He'll be timed. Well, I'm going to stay up here and wait. Well, he had plenty of time for you to come on. Hey, Tom. Yeah, go ahead. Why don't you see if Chris can back up, so you can back up and get further to the left side of the road. He's getting real close to that power line, trying to lift up. And yeah, be careful. He'd like to come over too quick. He's kind of got a thing to lean over a little. No. I would try to get either in the middle of the road or all the way over to the left where we were parking at. Placing in cars to still get back. You did it so good over show, my Mercy City. Real good. Copy. I got it all over show. I didn't have my radio on, my ears on the radio. I could have stayed my way here. Real good audio. The pain and the pain and the pain is gone in my 1111 radio. Hey, credit card with a plastic money out there. Hey, plastic money, just look at you. Good morning time to you. Oh, plastic money, 1111 on credit card, come on. Hey, how are you? Still out there reading, man? Hey, Dirty, how are you? I'm playing Australia, man. Company and morning and wishing you all the best. You know how we do it over show, man. You know what's going on. I put in the was kind of intervene anyway. I heard you all the time. Only 11 West Indies, I'm getting up. Pronto, se no, ya te llamo para afuera, de Maya, con una maquinita, nomás que se había hecho una maquinita. I use 801. 801 locally apertures. That's what's going on here in St. John's, Antigua. Roger, Marbell. I hear you many times, Marbell. You talk to wire, to one piece of wire here. Not too far away from my location, about 7 miles air distance, and right. Yeah, but I hear you many times, Marbell. You're very familiar to me. best to you also, and until next time. Until next year, next time. Okay, bye bye.
Yeah, I'm just kind of scanning around the band right now, actually. That's all I'm doing right now. Kind of searching for some stuff to listen to. Skip really isn't running right at this moment. Joe, I'm not sure why. I can see you popping up and then it pops right back out. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, Joe. I can see you popping in and then popping right back out for some reason.
Real good copy number one, man. I like the way you do it, man. Appreciate the down life and all the best. You number one. All the best. That's the number one radio in my 11 radio.
What's up, Jason?
Good morning, guys. How are you? Or good afternoon, whatever it is over there. Morning, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still morning over here where I'm at.
I'm after picking your brains.
Okay.
So I've got a new PC yesterday, set it all up, and I'm wanting to do, if I were to do a live, right, on YouTube, what's the procedure, mate? Talk me through it if you can.
Well, like how I'm doing it through StreamYard, are you talking about?
Yeah. So basically, I'm a fucking technophobe, right? So I've literally got YouTube on the, I'm logged into the YouTube on the PC. So where would you go from there, mate?
All right. Let's see here. If you want to start up your own account, for instance, and start doing it like, live streaming like through StreamYard and like broadcasting it onto YouTube, like what I'm doing right now.
Exactly what you're doing there. Exactly that.
Okay. All right. The first thing is just basically, all right, like you got a like an email address or an email like account or whatever like that kind of, or whatever kind of account like that. So that's how you would set up the StreamYard. You go in there and you basically set up an account using that email. All right. They got the free.
So it'll be the same email that I've got attached to YouTube anyway, won't it?
Yeah, you can use that one. Yeah, I use that. I use the one that I've got to my YouTube channel just because that's what I'm broadcasting to. That's what I use. And then
I only use one email address anyway, so that's fine.
But I've got other backups and shit like that also because I kind of use up more than 20 hours pretty easy before the month's up. So I kind of use a couple other accounts also.
Okay.
But that's just because I'm on the free package. You get 20 hours basically of stream time a month. All right.
Right.
And then you know what I mean. If you use it that up before your month's out, you can't do any streams. You can get on panels and stuff, but you can't like you do like the live streams until that month is up, and then you can start all over.
People trick that, don't they, by just changing the email address in it?
Well, I've got about 5 or 6 accounts just for that. Yeah, so I can continuously do it. Just different accounts, and then start all over the next month. Basically, it's like I got it spread out. So.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense, right? So next question is, you say StreamYards. Where do you get StreamYards, and how do you?
I think it's in the App Store or whatever. I think it's in that stuff, man. I mean, honestly, man. Yeah, you can probably go into the App Store or whatever, like Google App Store, whatever it is, and you can probably just type it in the search engine, StreamYard, for instance. Or go through Google it or whatever. I'm not sure. You can probably Google it. Probably go through the website or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It'll give you an option where you can like set up like a new account or whatever, and you can use whatever email address or whatever and all that stuff to set it up. And then once you get it set up, you're pretty much good to go when you like, for instance, when you once you get everything set up where you agree to all the little the rules and regulation, that kind of stuff. Once you get all that and you set up your account, then you're able to start a broadcast if you wanted to. Like, for instance, just actually like set up a stream.
So when you start the broadcast, you do it all through StreamYards, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I can monitor YouTube. I'm on a cell phone, so it's a little harder than it would be with a laptop. But I can monitor YouTube also, but I am watching the chat and I'm doing everything through StreamYard. I actually like even if I was to bring up YouTube right now, I have to pause it or turn the volume down, or it will start echoing um, in my microphone because it will be playing out the speaker and it'll echo.
Okay.
So that's what you want to. Also, that's another thing you got to keep in mind. It's like if you got like for instance, you're looking through your StreamYard, but you got YouTube open and it's still like, it's got that delay and in that all together, and then you'll hear that through the speaker on the external speaker, for instance, and then it'll come through your microphone, and it'll echo back in.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so you got to turn that, keep that either down or or I just don't even have it playing at the. I just look straight, straight through the StreamYard thing.
Yeah, yeah. Because when I go into a panel like now, for example, I'm just looking at StreamYard.
Right.
It's the only way to go into the panel, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's and like when it comes down to even doing it, when it comes down to doing the stream, that's in my opinion, that's the best way to do it anyway. Just look through that where I can see the chat and all that stuff, and I just pay attention to that instead of paying attention to what's going on YouTube because it's the exact same thing. It's just it's got a just different delay. um, I know what's going on over there on YouTube, and I mean, like for instance, if I wanted to make a mod, for instance, I have to go through YouTube to do it. Instead, I can't do it through StreamYard. I can see everybody. I just can't tell which ones got wrenches and which ones don't, except for the ones I know I made a mod, for instance. It's just that you wouldn't see any of that stuff, or like if they deleted a message on YouTube, it'd still come up on StreamYard. I'd still see it, but it'll look deleted on YouTube.
Right. I guess I've got to play around with that then to get a StreamYard thing set up. Ronnie
What's up,
London's
S?
commenting in chat. He's probably the man.
Big
He's
up
just done it
London. Yeah, right
himself,
on.
hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, it's really not that hard, honestly, man. Once I figured out how to once I figured it out and I actually got it to work, because I actually had to for me, I ended up upgrading a cell phone, and I got a headset with a microphone type of thing, one of that kind of thing. But it's the cheap one. But that's for me to get everything to kind of work for me. It was just I had to do that and everything. And because I was for some reason the cell phone I was using before, it didn't matter what browser I used, I couldn't get the damn shit to connect. But yeah. Once I figured out how to do it, then I started figuring out. I was like, well, shit, I just do that same setup a number of times, so I can keep the like almost like unlimited hours, but on the free aspect, just kind of working the system, I guess you would call it. Eventually,
Yeah.
man, they'll catch on. Who knows? Especially if I keep talking about it. So I'm not going to talk about it anymore.
It's quite easy to open the StreamYard then. I've more or less done it, I think.
And then, I mean, once you get everything set up, and then you're at the point where you'll have a screen where it's like it shows upcoming and past like stuff. The upcoming thing, you just scroll down. It'll you can create a broadcast, and when you do that, it'll give you the all the options that you have. For instance, like if it's under your
So
YouTube.
sorry to interrupt. What it's done here is I've opened up the account. I've obviously done it through the email address, and it's telling me now add a destination.
Yeah, it's probably like like your YouTube account, for instance. It'll probably give you a
So
list of options or whatever. Like yeah,
yeah, it
like if
says
you're wanting
YouTube
to, if you
channel.
want, yeah, if you want to do it to YouTube. See, you can broadcast to all kinds of different social networks. For instance, I only do YouTube, so that's the only thing I'm broadcasting on. So, but it gives you options and stuff. If you're going to do it for just doing YouTube, just do that as a place to like where you're going to
Okay, yeah, I'm
broadcast.
almost there now. Just basically it says enable live streaming on your YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play around a bit, see if I can sort it out.
Yeah. I have to. I honestly, man, I'd have to be sitting there looking exactly, seeing what you're doing right off the bat, man. I could probably talk you through it even easier. But yeah. And plus, are you on a laptop or on a cell phone?
I normally I'm using cell phone as I'm talking to you now, but I'm just setting it all up on the laptop. On a
Oh, okay,
PC.
okay, okay. Yeah, it's a little different. I don't know how to do all that stuff, but oh yeah, right on. Hold on. Yeah. Ronnie,
Yeah, I'm trying to read what they're writing in the chat there as well. They're being quite
I'm not
helpful.
sure.
Here we
Good
go,
morning,
Ronnie.
Rena. Good morning, mate. You alright, Jace?
How you doing, brother? You all right?
Yeah, not bad. You know what? Are you using Google Chrome?
I am, yeah.
All right, cool. So that's what I have to do. So when you log in and all that, say like you go onto StreamYards as the browser, don't use the app, yeah? If you
Yeah, I've
log
gone
into
in as a
StreamYards,
browser, yeah. And it
and
gives you a code, doesn't it? And it sends the code to your email address.
and then you verify that.
You whack the code in, and then it asks you what you want to use it for, basically. So you click on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then it will say it's come up with now enable live streaming on YouTube, and that's where I'm at the minute.
Yeah, so what I done is I went onto my YouTube app, yeah, and I just fiddled around and I pressed the live button on the YouTube app. I had to
That's what it's
update my
saying at the minute. Let me just show you what I've got.
I had to update my Google Chrome and all that as well before I could do it because my Google Chrome was out of thingy. Okay.
You should use use Brave browser because it's based on Google Chrome but more privacy focused
Where I'm
than
at.
Google Chrome.
Let me see. What does that say on the black box? What does it say on inside where it says the red bit?
Enable, and it says at the top
Yeah.
there to open YouTube live dashboard.
There's some little tabs on the left side. You know, on the left side of the black box.
It's going to need permission to use your camera and your microphone. I know that for sure.
Yeah, so if you click the tabs on the left side there, it will start saying what your title of your stream and all that will have to be. So then you just put all that in, just put in a little bit of description or whatever, and it's on your way to setting up. And then it says enable microphone and camera.
Okay.
So I'd look at the tabs on the left side of that black box. Like
what
if
it's
you click
saying
one,
it's going by step here. Go to YouTube live dashboard. So it's telling me to click on this blue thing. Number 2 is follow YouTube steps to enable live streaming. Number 3 is once live streaming is enabled, return to StreamYard and connect again.
Right.
It can take 24 to 48 hours to be approved.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened to me as well. But I just went onto YouTube, pressed live on YouTube just to see what happened, went back to the stream browser, what you're on now, clicked the left side of the black box where it has the little options. I filled out a couple of boxes of description and that, and then just click next, enable microphone and camera. It's easy when you do it.
Once it's set up, it's freaking easy.
Yeah, but the point I was trying to make is if you're going to create a live, do you start off going through StreamYards or do you do?
Yeah. So what I do is I open up my
so you won't even need to open up your YouTube channel or your YouTube. You just go straight into StreamYards and then.
What I do now is now that it's all set up, I just type in StreamYard. It takes me to my page, my StreamYard page, and it says start live, and then it gives me the option if I want to live on Facebook or YouTube. When I hit YouTube, my YouTube account is there, and it just connects to my YouTube account through StreamYards.
Yeah, once you push your live, you're already basically broadcasting onto YouTube. You're all right. You don't have to do anything with YouTube. And then when you're done with the stream, it'll automatically download onto YouTube.
So yeah, it's like you have to accept it in YouTube as well. So where you can go live on YouTube, go in there and accept it, so that they accept the third party StreamYards, because it's like third party thing stream that. So you have to accept it. It's a
But
bit mad, but it will work.
you only need to accept that once, I would assume, though. Aye.
Yeah, once. Yeah, once. Yeah.
Aye, because you're basically just accepting a third party add-on to interact with your Facebook, and basically it posts for you. Basically, that's what it does. It basically makes a post as you've made your StreamYard.
What's up,
And
Matt?
then,
What are you doing?
you know what I mean? Hey, doing
Hello
Ron.
there.
Yes,
Am I getting through this time?
Yeah.
Oh, right, cool. Sorry about that.
What are you doing now? What's going on?
Well, had some good news today, but I had fun yesterday. Today, heard that a certain hospital in the United Kingdom, St. Richard's Hospital, the specialists and everything, are telling their patients they're not going to give them the dibby-dabby anymore. Because of, I take it, what's been going on with people collapsing and shit.
Yeah, I think it's to do with that, that fake Met case. Folk are saying it's fake. I think it's to do with that, really.
What's that, mate? Sorry, Joker?
I think it's to do with that fake Met case that everybody run about saying was fake. I think it's to do with that, really. I listened to a call this morning that was grabbed by Twitter, I believe, and it was the people that advise you telling somebody on the phone not to take any more jabs or boosters or anything.
I saw that as well, but there's been other things, Joe. There's been a lot of people going into the individual police station based on that original case at Hammersmith and going in and doing the same in lots of other police stations.
Yeah, well,
and off the back of that, there's also videos of sites being shut down, like jibby jabby sites are actually getting closed. The police are getting called and they're having to close them down.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen lots of that. It's all over the Telegram at the minute, loads of it.
My son checked if the number was real and everything, because you never know. And he said, yes, it is the hospital number and everything. So he sent Raymond the links. She watched it and everything, but watched it twice. But now it's been obviously kicked off, removed from Twitter for violations.
What was it?
No.
It's still on Telegram though, mate, because I sent it to Thingy today.
It's alright, I'll send it to Vin in the next 20 minutes, alright? I'll be on Odyssey in the next 20 minutes, so it'll be done. Sorry, I've got it.
Yeah, Odyssey, yeah, if they put it on Odyssey, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
No, I'll do it. I'll put it on Odyssey.
Oh, right. Oh, good, yeah, put it on Odyssey. They can't fucking touch it, can they?
It's that young girl, isn't it? She talks about her sister having a problem as well. Her sister's due to have it, and they tell her both, no, don't do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
She actually said there's things coming out about it now, basically saying it's unsafe.
Yep. Yeah. Told our delivery guy. Maria Moon told our delivery guy with the groceries today, and he says, "Oh, you're one of these conspiracy theories. I haven't seen it on the news."
Typical answer.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh well.
No, it's good though, isn't it? At least we know things are starting to happen.
Yeah, well, that's it. People are saying, right, fuck it. You know, let's go to the police. Let's get this investigated into, because nobody knows what the fuck is in this shit.
Yeah. Sorry to change the subject. I just want to check one more thing. Ron, I'm Ronnie London. This is where I'm at now. Yeah. So it's basically telling me I've got ready in 24 hours.
Yeah, there you go.
And then
so in 24 hours.
And up there, I've got 3 options: stream, webcam, and manage.
Yeah, so make sure all boxes are click to accept on the left-hand black tabs you see on the black screen with the options. If you make sure that they're all accepted.
Where's the option?
And what them things you're hovering over. Yeah, you know what I mean? Them, yeah. So if you just sort out them, make sure everything's accepted. In 24 hours, when you come back to the page you're on, it will have go live on YouTube, and you just click it and it will be ready. But you do have to wait 24 hours for it to verify. Or up to anyway.
Cool.
But this is the screen you want. When you go live, this is what you go on. That black screen will say live, go live now. You hit it and it will connect you to your YouTube account. Yeah, it's done.
Sweet. Okay.
That's a nice map you got there.
You'll
No, it's
be
not a Mac, man.
you'll be
It's
up
the
and
Dell.
running you'll be up and
Oh,
running
is it?
within a day or two. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this time tomorrow, 100%.
Yeah, you'll be up and running, be able to live for one. I mean, the free option is like you get only 20 hours a month. You know what I mean? And that's with just one account. You know, you get 20 hours a month. And that's but if you start paying for it, it gets up to like unlimited hours.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they give you a couple other options like backgrounds and stuff like that. And, you know, but
I'm only doing
yeah,
it just
Yeah,
so I can speak to a few regular people, mate. It just makes it a bit more sociable, innit? I don't want to get
yeah.
involved
I'm
in any
I'm
drama
actually
and
I'm
shit.
actually I'm actually thinking about starting a couple other things like an experiment. Like for instance, you know, I'll give you an example. Like for instance, if I was to shut the stream down right now, everybody stayed where they are. We're in backstage basically, but that's not
yeah,
being broadcasted out there out in the open where it's not public. We can sit back here for a while and do that. You
I
know what I mean?
noticed that, yeah, and
And
it's
yeah,
okay,
totally
for
private at that
hours and
point, isn't it?
hours.
I can do the same thing at the beginning. I can actually just you know, go in and start the stream. I won't push going live. I'll just keep it there where you'll have like a notification on my page, but the chat will be there, and I'll put a link to the StreamYard thing. You just push the StreamYard, you'll come into the panel like we are now, but I haven't gone live yet. And we can
Yeah,
just
yeah,
sit here
yeah.
and talk like normal, like I mean, without we wouldn't be live out in public, so it'd be like we wouldn't have to worry about censorship.
But you
Not
know
only
what though?
that, not only that, it doesn't work into my YouTube hours. You know what I mean? That 20-hour thing
But
that I do, it doesn't
I
work
know
into that either.
I know
So
one guy that done that. I know one guy that done that. He brought,
just backstage talking, you know.
Me
yeah,
and
no,
SG
but
have done it a few
Well, it's
times.
a shame you can't do just invite only and just have it private
he got
without.
Well, I don't
no,
know.
check this.
I mean, the thing is like, all right, like to people that came to my page, for instance, they'd see the thing saying it's like, I'm going live. I'm waiting on Wingnut, or you know, all right, waiting on the Anarchy Television. That's what it was saying. But the chat would be able to. Everybody can still chat in the chat. They wouldn't see us up here in the panel, but we'd be back in the back room. But we can see the chat, and we can chat with, you know, and put into the chat if we wanted to. But you know,
Yeah,
but we'd be sitting up here like on the
No,
panel
but
like this and just having our own
look,
thing. You know,
one geezer done that for us one time, and he broadcasted like, say like Wingnut was the host, yeah, and there
yeah,
was 10 of us in his live stream. Then he closed the live stream,
right,
kept us backstage, and then he
yeah,
broadcasted the boxing. But
yeah,
once you put the link in and you go, you take yourself backstage, like you like what you're talking about. Once we go backstage, anyone can click that link and join the
yeah,
backstage still.
exactly. See, I can do that after I close it up, or I can even do that before I even open it up. So I've got both options. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just
man.
on like if I do it before, if I do it like for instance, I don't even start the stream, but I just leave it up there. You know, anybody that happen to come in, they can click on the link, they can come up, whatever. I mean, it's just I just never went live at all. You know what I mean? But it would be
yeah,
like
I had
backstage, like afterwards. It'd be exactly the same thing.
yeah, I had quite a few backstage conversations with some people a
Mm.
few times
I
now.
thought it would be something interesting, just like it wouldn't,
Yeah,
you know, we wouldn't have to worry about the censorship thing. Like for
hmm
instance, get my stream taken down or anything like that. We can say whatever the fuck we wanted to. It wouldn't be out in the public. You know what I mean? I thought about
Like a
like maybe
hmm
private
starting
chat.
having a couple backroom chats type thing, just like, you
Yeah.
know, just every once in a while, whatever, you know. If anybody's into that kind of thing, I might start some stuff, you know.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a decent idea
I'm
because you get to meet some good people on here, and it's nice to speak without obviously everything else.
Right, right.
yeah. Well,
Just
have
one
you heard about
quick.
the new censorships?
The what now?
How bad it is where swearing is concerned. So many clause now in this new uh, to do with YouTube. There's so
Well,
many
When's that
things
being
now you're not
implemented,
allowed to
though,
say.
Ron? Because you've only
I
got to
wasn't
look at
really
some of look
I
at some
wasn't
of
really thinking
Crinkle's.
about that.
Look at
Yeah,
some.
I was thinking more like for instance, if I was to start talking about certain medical terms and stuff like
Yeah,
that, I'm talking about things like that. I'm
Can
talking
I
like we can
say,
sit back
yeah?
in the back. Say
I
what?
feel like there's sorry, so I feel like there's some people that are over exaggerating it so people don't talk about it on their live stream.
Yeah.
I do
No, I
as well,
mean,
mate. Because if you look at
Exaggerating.
Crinkle stuff, mate, not one thing's been taken
Exactly.
down, and his lives are brutal, mate. They break all rules, and they break
I
them
know,
hard as
I
well. And
know,
not one of them's been took
I
down.
know.
No, I'm
Yeah,
talking
but
about, like,
what
for
you'll
instance,
find
if
is,
I start
what you'll
talking
find
about certain
you'll find
medical
that he's only been
truths.
targeted by individuals yet who don't like hurty words. So why some people, not seeing yourself, Master Ron, just because you brought the conversation up, obviously, but some people overemphasize it, yeah, and then go and complain about it in alternative accounts, and then come back in and say, "See, it's because of
Yes,
that."
yes,
You know,
yes.
it's
Joker.
kind of gay. It's
Yes.
kind of
Big up,
gay. I
Vincent.
mean,
Yeah,
you know.
the public can get you closed down easily now.
Yeah.
The chat.
Yeah, but of course, but let's be honest, right? It's more than likely not the public. It's more than likely somebody that didn't like the hurty words with an alternative account pretending to be
Yeah.
public, right? So it is right when folk bring it up, but let's bring up the first subject here and let's point fingers at the ones that have actually been getting accounts shut down through nefarious means, utilising terms and conditions and only targeting not their
Yeah.
friends.
See, that's the thing too. I was sitting there thinking that's the reason why.
UK groups, and the UK group is prevalent, and it's so obvious, and it's all been documented. It's just waiting for somebody to broach that subject so it can get leaked, shall we say?
I think it's over exaggerated, though, honestly, because Crinkle gets away with absolute murder in his thing, honestly. Like you,
Yeah, the difference with Crinkle though is that he's not who you think he is. He's
Well, I don't
got
know.
some
He's not really. He's not going against the grain. He's going with the grain.
Yes.
He's not going against the grain.
Yes.
So, like, for instance, if I was, hold on, who's that? Well, anyway, and somebody keeps on wanting to pop in. But, yeah, if he was doing the same exact thing, but he was like going against the narrative, I think.
Yeah. The fact that he likes cupcakes gets him where he wants to be.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that don't as well on there who spread a lot of stuff as well. So it's not just the host, it's the other people. So I think if the rules are broke, it doesn't matter who breaks them. If it's going to get
Well, see,
took down,
that's the reason why I was thinking about that backstage scenario, so we can have these conversations like a little bit freer, in a sense. I mean, like, for instance, it wouldn't do nothing for the people that are sitting in the chat because they'd be seeing a blank screen, not hearing or seeing nothing. They'd just be, talking amongst themselves in the chat. But we be sit up here, we can see it, we can comment into the chat.
But
you know what I mean?
how many people can be backstage though?
Well, that's another thing too. I only tried it once today so far, and I only have one person up here on the panel. I can have a full panel, which is 6 people, but I have no idea how many people sitting back in the back room.
That's
You
what
know
I'm
what I
saying.
mean?
Because when that geezer done the boxing match and we were sitting here watching it, some of the chat was saying that they could click the link and sit backstage, and they were watching it.
Yeah. So I don't know how many people backstage can sit. I have no idea. I haven't tried it out yet. I mean, I'm still in a experimental stage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten enough people to sit back and do it with me yet. Yeah, you know what I mean?
What you could do is keep pumping out the link to the chat saying, if you want to get in on our private chat, click the link and get like 10 people backstage, whatever.
Yeah.
And then keep rotating. Then you could use this as like some private platform to speak freely.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I am not set up on a cell phone where I can actually like share stuff. Like, for instance, if I wanted to have a movie night, you know what I mean? Like, or like where I do like an hour of movies or something. I don't fucking know. I mean, whatever. I thought about that. And now I wouldn't have to worry about copyright and all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who's coming London on the 22nd, guys? Anyone coming?
Well, I'm not able to. But I know yesterday there was good news.
That video you were talking about is in the back chat right now.
All right. Oh,
the one that's missing for Twitter.
Yeah,
she's just found it on Facebook and you downloaded it.
Do you know what time though? Because
still on Facebook, Joker.
I'm on tag, so I've got to be home before 4.
Yeah, I know, mate. It's 12 o'clock.
Yeah. I might come down. I might come down.
Joker's got to take the piss.
You got to be home before the streetlights come on. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Get in and ask them for an abbreviation of your tag for one night, so you can go.
Yeah, an extension. Tell them I'm going on a march.
By 8, governor. Honest. Please. Sorry, man.
After March, after February, I should be alright, man. I'll be coming all the time, honestly.
I reckon this one's going to be quite big, though, to be fair, because of all the new bill and everything. This is going to be one I think that they're going to make a...
Yeah.
Well, who's going to
So
be
what
out there
happened
doing
to
any
it?
live streams?
Take
Who's
out.
going to be out there watching it? You know,
That was
Anybody?
rejected last night. That was
Oh,
rejected
Good.
Was it?
from the House of Lords. They voted against it. So now it's gone back to Parliament.
Very good.
So
You know what the percentage was on the rejections?
yeah, it's DJ and one that said last night on a live, turned around and said, "Oh, the House of Lords rejected it. They voted and they voted against it. So now it's going to go back to Parliament and they can look at it again."
Do you know
As
what
they
the
always
votes
do.
were? For and
I
against?
have not got a clue, mate.
That'd be interesting to find out.
So
Once it's rejected, there it should just be fully rejected, though, shouldn't it?
no,
think they
well,
can
yeah,
repeal
but the
it.
House of Parliament, yeah, they can tweak it and everything to try to get it through House of Lords, and then to get the Queen to sign the piece of paper.
Fuck it off.
Things are definitely coming our way at the minute.
Yes, mate. Yes, mate. Oh, does anybody follow Reverend Lord Simon Sideways?
That was
Yeah, I don't
hilarious
know.
last night.
Yeah,
No, I
I watched
heard
it. It
about
was
that.
wicked, mate. That was so funny.
You was there, yeah? Oh, fucking hell, was that wicked? That is one place. That is one place I thought that he would never, ever, ever go to, because I tune into Rev,
And
and
then
I thought
what I
this
found
is one
funny,
place
mate,
where
was I
Twinkle
was
would never
watching
go.
it, and then Welshie popped up, man. I thought, oh, fucking hell, here we go.
I went up there as well.
Yeah, I see you on there. That was funny, man.
I heard he got kicked. And then he went somewhere else and then they kicked him. Then he went somewhere else and then they kicked him. Then he went somewhere else and they kicked him. So then he started again. I
Then he
only
started his
watched.
own live, and no one joined it, did they? His first live, it was a dead panel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember he fell asleep on a panel once, and I directed everybody over to correct not politicals. It was funny as fuck. He had 9 hours of dead air. Nothing. Just be in the chat. Just be in the chat. Eat the piss for 9 minutes.
Hey, I have to admit, I did it one time. I fell asleep one time. I was like, nope. That's the only reason is like I had a couple of guys on there, or it was like 2 people. I can't remember who it was right offhand.
I know he had a panel. He had mods and everything, and everybody left. Everybody just left. Went somewhere else. I was actually pissing myself laughing because I thought that shit ain't mods. That's actually quite hard. To be honest with you, they're not keeping your show going for you while you're asleep. They're leaving you.
Yeah.
They're totally leaving you for 9 hours. I thought that was a bit harsh, because he's a human being at the end of the day. But what did you do to upset him, Master Ron? Because I literally tuned in for 5 minutes, so you get your ass ripped and called an idiot and whatnot. I didn't catch what actually transpired.
Oh, right.
And then
that was
I think I heard mostly fucking say that you were me an idiot. And then I was like, well, that's weird, Rabbit. I'm out of here, man. I'm away back to watch.
Funny because Ron
back
went
to watch.
in there,
I
ripped him a
triggered
new
him.
one, mate, and then fucked off and left him, mate. He couldn't even reply to you, Ron. You just fucked off and left him there. He was
I know.
screaming. Quality,
Yeah,
mate.
I know. I triggered him. I thought, right, but he didn't listen to what I said. And then somebody else jumped on the panel, which I don't get along with, and started giving it all the mouth and everything. I thought, well, you don't even know the guy who's, the crinkle, which he didn't, because his attitude changed to when Bear closed it and then reopened
mate.
it.
The way you just fucking went off, he had steam coming out of his ear. He was ready to explode at you, mate, and you just bye.
Well, fuck off.
Run! No, run!
Mate.
Shut up a minute. Hang on.
Wait.
It was still
Yeah,
live this
wait.
morning when I woke up. Like when I got up this morning, Ken, I did my usual routine, Ken. Fight to get the dog off me, Ken. It's still asleep. And get myself up, put the heating on, go and make a brew, check my email, blah 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 blah. And he was still live this morning. Like he was still live. Had somebody on. And he still had about 60 folk, and he still had about 60 folk watching as well in his chat. Like no shit.
It was fun. I didn't
Nice little
think that
walk.
he'd ever go there though, Joe.
What?
I thought one place where he'd never find was Revs, because I thought if he goes on Revs, he's gonna get himself ripped apart. And look what happened. I thought, you fool.
I've never saw it. And I will be honest. I didn't even think I've even watched one of his sideways streams. If you get what I mean, it's been recommended a few times, but I've just never got round to it. If you get what I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're basically a bunch of truck drivers, but educated truck drivers, and it was brutal. You know, first he made a phone call in because you got two choices with Reverend, is that you can either phone in or you can go up on the panel. First he did the phoning and everything, and he was fucking around with the background sound and everything. He was trying to say it was the Rev and what have you, and it wasn't. So then he went up on the panel, and that was it. It just went from there, like, and it was fucking it was fun.
Did he go up with his hat and his glasses on and all that shit?
Yeah. He went up as the clown. You know what I mean? He went up like the clown, mate. Oh yeah, fucking hell.
And didn't they take the piss out of his baseball cap and everything, mate? They were like, "Look at the fucking state of you. Show us your bloodshot eyes," and he wouldn't take his glasses off.
Yeah, that's it. And the guy at the bottom of the screen, he rolled up a £20 note or something, stuffed it up his nose. I'm a chemist.
Brutal. That makes sense. Then, because there was a comment on his stream. It's still up because he'll be asleep last night, and one of the comments in it is, would you mind stop taking cocaine when you due other YouTubers money? I don't know what that's about, guys. No idea, but it's interesting.
But it was good. It was good. But yeah. But when I come off of there, because in the end Rev booted him off. He thought, "Oh fuck this clown," you know what I mean? Kicked him off. Anyway, so then I thought, right, I reckon he's gone on to somebody else's live, because you know that once he's booted off, he is going to be up in the air and go, "Ah," you know what I mean? So I thought, Bear's on. That's more likely where he'd go. And as soon as I got there, I thought, yep, he's there. So I hit the button. I went up on panel, and I triggered him. Oh, it's beautiful.
Well, I never saw it. I was watching. I was doing the cardinal sin of watching the propaganda box, watching a movie. So, but like, it was still going this morning. Yeah. I mean, I did watch the first 5 minutes of his video for this morning. Watch the intro yet, man. Everything's about communism now. It's Russia bad. It's like Russia dossier all over again. Because everybody works for Russia. Flute Dog works for Russia. Civil Disobedience works for Russia.
Yes.
Everybody that's ever disagreed with him works for Russia. Because I'm watching RT News. RT News. And they're trying to get you not to do what the government did. So stop watching RT News and do exactly as the government say. That's pretty much his message for the first 5 minutes. It's quite funny.
What's happened with the Russian saga? Didn't they do a drone attack or something? I see something on Google. Something went on over there, didn't it?
What, in Russia? Recently?
Yeah.
You're not trying to insinuate Crinkle pushed the button, are you?
Wow.
Oh man, can you imagine if he actually?
You know what I mean? Anything possible.
Can you imagine if he had the control to actually push that button, man? I mean, would you want his finger on that sucker?
Well, like, think about it, right? Drones are actually flown by Xbox One pads, so
yeah.
If you ever stopped playing Minecraft on his Xbox, then it could be dangerous, guys. It could be dangerous.
Right, you wanted to know the voting thing, yeah? It was 235 234 yays and 327 nays. So in
And what
other
was that
words, you know,
That's
for that
decent.
vote yesterday of that bill, is 234 yes and 327 no's to it. That's why it didn't get through.
Well, that would make sense because that recording that's in the back end, right? That recording
Mm.
stated by somebody that you would imagine's a no, and the number does check out. So unless it was somebody with a Russia sim phoning in and doing a Chinese voice to that number, right? That's a legitimate number, right? That person stated that by March, it's all gone. New financial year. Funny that, isn't it?
Mm.
It's all been budgeted for so far. So they'll wind it down slowly and then hit you with new information that's months old, more than likely, to try and cover their arse. Hey, maybe that's why Cummins is out slating Bojo, because Mr. Cummins went to check his eyesight with we manufacture a licensed mRNA. Maybe that's why Cummins has tried to destroy Boris from within, and he just got caught, because he certainly didn't get sacked for calling Boris's wife a slag when her own book calls herself it twice, and it's her book, autobiography. So why would you be upset if you call yourself it twice?
Shoot, I'd like to know what's stashed away that Julian Assange has still got hold of.
Well, Julian Assange ain't got control of that, has he? And he told everybody before he got arrested. I think that's why they arrested him, because they were like, what do you mean you've not got control? What? You like, who? And Julian Assange went, I don't fucking know who. We just get the intel.
Right.
So that's all good. That'll all go. But that's why I think Prince Andrew and all that kind of stuff will all be deals in the Assange. I don't think he'll go. I really don't. And if he does, we'll betide him. Because if they're going to martyr him, right?
Well, that's another thing too. But like, for
martyr
instance,
for
does he have some kind of a dead switch? Like, if he just disappears, like, shit will start getting dumped out.
That's already implemented. But he's no in control. He needs to still up. You just can't access it. Aye, they've denial service, no denial service it, but like anti-net neutrality kind of stop you from accessing bits. All these things have been dumped. The whole of WikiLeaks has been dumped anyway, and it's never going to go away. So Assange is basically a hostage right now, isn't he?
Yeah. Well,
it's the data that's keeping him hostage, and unfortunately for him, he's no in control of that data. He never was.
Political prisoner, in a way.
But technically, aye. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out because the appeal process has been he's been screwed again, isn't he? So now it's open again for him to be rendition flight away. You know what I mean? But then they'll be appealing it now, And I'm assuming that he's married somebody that's up for the task, that lawyer. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's definitely a political prisoner. Definitely. Julian Assange, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
100.
The best bit is technically Assange got himself arrested,
Well, he didn't really. I mean, honestly, he was kind of cooped up in that damn embassy for the longest damn time.
He was only cooped up in that embassy because he made a phone call to the State Department, and saying, "Where, by the way, I can't stop that." And at which point they said, "What do you mean you can't stop this?" And didn't want to hear him what he had to say. And then it wasn't long after that they trumped up the fucking charges for the two people that he'd already been cleared off twice. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But it's no nice, It's no good, but it should worry everybody because he technically is a journalist,
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing.
Whether citizen journalist or no, you didn't have to have one of these journalist cards to be a journalist, unfortunately. You know what I mean? But if they can do it to him, they can do it to anybody.
Exactly.
We've already had secret courts in the UK. They went round somebody's house in London, and he says, "Good afternoon, sir. Hi, what you here for? Oh, you've been convicted in a court already. We're here to take you to the jail." Secret courts where you're not there, and you're jailed. And you can find this. There's a human rights lawyer that got somebody out of the jail who had experienced such things.
Yeah, they're trying to talk about it like what is it, like red flag laws and stuff like that here, where like for instance, my neighbor or a family member can call up and say, "Hey, I think he's a danger to himself and others, and he's got a bunch of guns." So they basically just get a permission from a judge, and judge will and they'll come over and then seize everything I got, put me in jail, and then I'll have to actually defend myself from that accusation, that claim.
Mhm.
And I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong at all. And it's just that person might have had a grudge against me. And next thing
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so
I mean, a lot of that stems from civil law, unfortunately, right? Because civil law, the burden of proof is 60% less. So
yeah.
you're already at only 40% just being accused. Does that make sense? So then you're not innocent until proven guilty because you're
Nope.
already at 40%.
Exactly.
So 50-50, you're already 10% on the back foot. You know,
Yep.
you've been punched twice, and then you have to then go and defend yourself, which isn't normal in my eyes. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, especially when you look at some of um, the levers that they utilize, if that makes sense. Like doesn't need to be corroboration, which is generally like, yeah, there needs to be like 2 witness statements, not just 1. If you get what I mean, if that makes sense. For
Well,
whatever
even then, it's like, okay, it's like if with no evidence to back up the claim, it's just basically hearsay in a way. But it's like they try to reverse it to the point where I'm the one that has to actually, I'm the one being accused, for instance, and I'm the one that has to defend myself from that. Now,
yeah,
see, actually, I don't. If you can't even back up the claim with evidence, what should I try and defend myself from it for? You know what I mean? And that's bullshit. It's it's all been flip flopped.
yeah, of course,
Um,
I get what you're saying, right?
yeah.
But their point is the evidence is the corroboration, the second person, or
Right.
or one person's voice can corroboration and say there was a mobile phone footage or whatever that. Yeah, what they like to do as well is they like to, in cases like that, they like to ask you about it, right? Yeah, and the minute you go turn around and say, well, yeah, I was there, but that's not what happened, this was what happened. They like to say the fact that you admit to being there is evidence number 2, the corroboration as well, even though it's not, it's just one word against each other, if that makes sense. But they like to use the fact that you were there and admit you were there as part of the corroboration stepping stone, if that makes sense. I mean, I don't know what it's like for where you are in America, because I'm not that great when it comes to American laws, because like it's hard enough to keep up to date with the laws where you actually stay, if you get what I mean, because they change that often. Well, not the laws, but everything else they use as guise of the law, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Right on.
So what rig did you get, Jason?
What, PC?
Yeah.
I've got the Dell all-in-one.
Ah.
It's quite good, man. The ratings on it were pretty decent, so I just went with that. It's a Intel i5.
It's alright.
But it's good enough, really. I only use it generally for work stuff anyway, so it's not. I don't do anything massive on it, mate. Just my old work laptop was dying, and the battery was never holding a charge on it. It was driving me mad, and I had stuff on there that if it didn't ever charge, I would have been stuck. So
Aye.
it was time to get a new one.
Well, all-in-ones are quite cool, man, because it's like just like having a telly on the wall, isn't it? Really, yeah.
Well, yeah, as you get older, mate, the old eyesight starts going as well. So it used to drive me mad, straining, looking at the fucking little laptop. This thing was a 24-inch screen. It's huge.
Aye.
That's how I am with the damn cell phone right now.
Yeah, but they just keep getting smaller, so you lose them. That's all that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a scam, isn't it? It's like Heinz baby food has got a deal with Persil, right? Yeah, that it'll stain all the fucking clays, eh?
I do have to admit, with my phone. To be fair, I've got one. Have you seen them Samsung Folds?
Oh yeah, the ones that fold in half and stuff. That's actually pretty cool.
I've got one of them. So when my eyesight starts going in the evening, I just open it up, and it's like having a fucking tablet in your hand.
I want. That sounds nice, man. Because yeah.
You got any creasing yet on your fold?
No, it's the third generation one, and they reckon it doesn't happen on that. So I know the two it did, it started to crease. But I think they're trying to say that they fixed it, but we'll see, innit?
We'll find out in 6 months.
Yeah, innit, mate? Whatever the case, if it does, it will still be under manufacturer's warranty, won't it? So
you get 12 months or something like that. But I would use the Sales of Goods Act as amended, fit for purpose. Yeah,
absolutely, because it is an expensive phone. I think they're about 1,800 quid if you buy them just outright.
Aye, man.
Wow, man.
So if it fails within the first 6 months, I think it is, you'll be able to use the fit for purpose, and that'll give you 5 years. I think 5 years on that device.
That's what makes me die. Whenever you buy anything from places like Curry's and that, they try and shove it down your throat, don't they? You know, this protection warranty payments that you can do with them. Yeah. And I'm thinking, fuck off, because he tried on this PC I bought. You know, do you want the monthly aftercare? And I said, no, because if anything goes wrong with it in the first 12 months, mate, I'm coming to you. And if anything happens to it in the next 5 years, I'll be going to the manufacturers under the Sale of Goods Act.
Right.
Why would I go for that shit?
Their idea is, one, it just generates a lot of business, right? And two, like, whether you like it or no, I think Comet or Curry's, whatever one you're talking about, they do a swap out thing the same as Argos, don't they? But you just walk in and they just give you a brand new one. It wouldn't be the same for you as a computer, but would they not have to give you, if they didn't have anything like the same model, right, they'd have to give you the latest version on their policy for the same spec, which might actually be more expensive a year down the line.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So
but if you kept that policy going at a tenner a month over a few years,
it's a scam. It's like Sky do the same, don't they? Yeah, right. Sky B, right? They sell you like the thing for off. You get after the year, right? Their insurance policy, right? But after the year, if you phone up and tell them that you're not getting signal and they say they want 50 quid to come out and see you, just tell them, right, fine, cancel my contract from today. Cheerio. And within 2 days, they're phoning you back to give you that, for free.
And you know where they get you as well is it's a rolling contract, right? I'll tell you a story. Yeah. I had a tablet I bought, a Samsung tablet, and I bought it probably 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I signed up literally for a £7 a month fucking care package if it breaks or damages or anything like that. So 4 years later, I've realised I've still got this thing coming out of my bank account. So you can imagine, like, I was like, wow. So that's how they get you. They don't ever write to you. They don't ever give you a renewal. It literally rolls on. It could be going on for 20 years. You wouldn't know about it.
Yeah.
Scammers, mate.
I don't know where Joe dropped off, though. Yeah, there he is.
Sorry, man, that was my fat fingers hit the wrong button.
Right on, right on.
Oh, everybody's muted now. But no, that's how they get you. Like, it's like Amazon do the same tactics, so don't they? With auto renew or some shit like that, innit? Can send you washing powder even though you don't need it because you think you need it every 4 weeks.
You know what? I don't buy from Amazon, man. I just refuse. If I can avoid it, I just will not buy through them.
I'm the exact same, but I must admit, I have had to, like, I know folk with Amazon account say like the Prime and that. I have actually got down to buying this stuff because I can get it about 24 hours later when I've, like, if I have to, if you get what I mean. But
they're overpriced as well, aren't they? Everything on Amazon is so expensive compared to if you did buy it somewhere else.
I think a lot of it's just wish stuff. Yeah. That's what I argue. I think like the vast majority of it, I think drop ship basically. Yeah, it's the drop ship heaven basically. Yeah, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, my missus loves it. I mean, I can't talk her out of it. You should see the amount of fucking cardboard we have to throw at the end of the week through the Amazon packaging. But I just refuse.
Aye, man. I don't like Mr. Bezos. He's a bit of I call him a.
I just think they made enough through the lockdown, mate. If I can spend my money with a small business, I will do every time.
Aye, man. They all seem to be disappearing, eh? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's to the point that my vegetables I'll order from a farm if I can. I'd rather go and order from a small farm somewhere. Meat, I'd rather go to a butcher's. I'll try not to use supermarkets as best I can.
Aye, man. Aye. I just
feel like I'm doing my bit then for smaller businesses. You know, it's not a lot, but I think if everyone done it, it would help them, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
Well, I think if it's not just that, like a lot of the problems smaller businesses come across as government policy, because the policy cater towards big business, and if we continue to, support big business that doesn't support communities, you know what I mean, for lack of a better word, then the policies won't change.
And you know what? The products are better. If you order your veg from a farm, mate, the difference between buying it from a farm and buying it from the supermarket is unbelievable. And the same thing, if you use a good butcher's, the meat blows any supermarket meat away.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of it has to do with even like that, that industrial, farming, with like chickens and beef. And, these animals are not really happy. That actually affects the meat. If these animals were happy and they ate like they graze like naturally, dude, that meat tastes better. Versus packed in these little cages all their fucking life, and that's all they see.
Well, look, if you go and look at a steak, right, just a piece of steak in a supermarket, it's blood red, mate. It is just as red as it comes. You go and buy a piece of steak from a butcher's, and it's a richer color. It's a completely different color, and.
Well, yeah. Well, even then, it's like even some of the hormones that are being put in some of these, like the beef and the chicken and stuff like that. It's fucked up, just because they want to try to beef it up a little bit or make the muscles fatter or whatever.
Yeah, but you're saying that, and the other country that invented American cheese, and that's not even cheese. That's like plastic. You can set it on fire and it just melts.
I agree.
It melts, man. It melts. It's just like what?
I don't. Yeah, because I don't like it. I'd rather for instance, I'd rather have free range chickens and their eggs and stuff like that. I'd rather have free range beef. I like even wild animals and stuff when it comes down to the meat. You know what I mean? It's just got a better taste to it, and they're happier. You think about those animals, man. A majority of their life is happy, and that affects the meat. For instance, even even when it comes down to plants, you know what I mean? If they're in basically a happy environment, and growing right, it affects the taste of it and how they grow.
Yeah.
I like how
to be honest, I don't eat my bit of meat and think this guy was probably a lot happier when I'm eating it. I've got to be honest, but yeah, you're probably right.
Well, I'll tell you what, right?
It affects the taste of it,
There was an advertisement that got banned in Scotland, right? And it had a big picture of a coup, right? It had on one side, the other side was orange, right, on a big billboard with a big can of Iron Brew with the words on it saying, "When I die, I want to be washed in with this." That's what the cow was thinking. When I die, I want to be washed in with Iron Brew. It only lasted about 4 weeks and they got took down, That was only a couple of years ago, man. I thought it was brilliant. I think what you're saying is right, because angry people seem to have tenser muscles and whatnot, like different hormones and what going through them and whatnot, It's a bit like going to the gym and whatnot, If you get what I mean, aye.
Well, I'll tell you this. There's been experiments with water, for instance, or even plants. It's like, have you ever heard of people playing Bach or like some kind of classical music to the plants, and actually helped them grow better? What I mean? It's like the plants are actually happier. It's the same thing. There was a test with water. You can sit there and scream at it and cuss at this damn water, and you can freeze it, and you can look at the formations of the crystals versus like a glass of water being talk to like very gentle and having like very calming music or something. The crystals that form after you freeze it are so much
Yeah,
more
but
uniform versus.
that would just be down to vibration.
Yeah. Well, see, that's affected even like, for instance, like the meat, like in those factory farms where all they know is just being packed in these little cages all their fucking life, and all the thousands more of them. You know what I mean? And that's all they know. They're not happy, and then the type of food that they're being fed also, they're not happy. That's going to affect the meat. That'll, you know what I'm saying? It's just how it works.
Mhm. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not vegetarian or vegan or anything like that, But
Yeah.
living standards, a lot of animals have came on leaps and bounds. I would imagine.
Oh yeah.
You know. Um. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? Industrial farming has never been a good idea, but we're steadily moving away from that, I believe. I mean, the word organic and free range seem to allow people to put a premium onto their product, and most mass-produced people that supply supermarkets are getting their prices squeezed, if that makes sense. So the natural evolution of things would be that most will move over to organic or free range or whatever you want to call it. Better farm, better substance or whatever you want to call it.
You know what? I actually kind of like seeing, like, in some of these countries and where they've got all these open markets, and everybody's doing their like fresh vegetables or whatever, and then whatever and whatnot and all that stuff. They got all these big, huge open air markets and stuff, and it's like every day. You know what I mean? It's like here in America, for instance, it's not like you can just start up like a little open air market and then not have to worry about with all these different regulations and this and that, permission, blah blah blah, all this other shit. It's like I think I kind of like the idea of that, the idea of like just open air market, anybody can do whatever, and all you get all the fresh vegetables and stuff from like local growers and stuff, and that would bring in and then other stuff like that. You know what I mean? I like that idea.
I like that idea, but I would highly suggest you didn't have it next to stage 4 biolab.
Say what now?
I would highly suggest that you don't have that open market at a stage 4 biolab. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
What you were saying there sounded very suspiciously like Wuhan.
We'll just have to ban bats. That's all. It's like no bats allowed. Yeah, there you go.
No bats allowed.
We'll be good. They can't.
Bats and snakes. So that means no DEA, no.
Next thing you know, there'd be like the flying squirrel disease. Watch out for the flying squirrel disease. The transvestite midget flying squirrels.
You're going to have to say vertically challenged. You're not allowed to say midget.
Yeah, the vertically challenged.
Vertically challenged squirrel. It runs along the ground. It doesn't like high up in the tree.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it's the newest. It's the newest strand. It's the newest variation.
Yeah, man.
It's the newest mutant.
Newest mutant.
They're like a damn transformer, man. They keep on changing, transforming into something else. Like a damn mutant. Like one of those, like a changeling. There you go.
A changeling.
Yeah.
We'll call it Odd instead of Odo.
Exactly.
And download an APK on an Android, mate. You got more selection instead of paying for Netflix.
Or you could just use Kodi because it all still works, guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But just install apps now, can't you?
Yes.
What is there? You've got HD movies, BT and BTV, all loads of APKs. So you don't even have to pay them.
Everything that's an EPK, right? Can just be transferred to Python and made into a Kodi add-on. Everything.
Yeah. Because I used to use Kodi, and then you have the add-ons put into that some build, but then I started using APKs. I thought
no, I didn't blame you. I wouldn't have used a build. I've never used a build. The builds are generally got wee things in them that are sending back more data that even Cody does. But if you read Cody's privacy policy, it's amazing what they regard as private and how much of that is so little. You know, honest. Everything's going mostly real Deborah now, but I still didn't use that. I didn't use that. You can get everything you want, really. You just got to ken what you're doing.
Yeah, you're not wrong, mate.
Like every channel in the world, every live TV channel can be gotten coded. Just same as you.
Yeah, when it comes down to the TV, though, it's hit and miss, isn't it? If the link's working properly and everything, that's what I found with it. But I don't watch TV, so.
My honest opinion, if you've got a VPN, the only thing that's hard to keep going, right, I would say would be Sci-Fi Channel, History 2, History Channel, and some of the Discovery channels. Not that many, if I'm honest. Everything else works constant. If you can but that's just like, you know, I mean, I've been using Kodi since the original Xbox days, so it's what it really was, XBMC. That's where the Kodi Foundation get all their code fee, realistically, which is open source on GitHub.
Kodi, when it first came out, was excellent. It was really good. But then, I don't know, was it a few things to do with Kodi were being closed down? Certain APKs, adaptations to Kodi, wasn't it?
No. Kodi, right, didn't exist until Kodi rebranded, right? Now, what you got to look at it this way, right? The very first Xbox, the original Xbox OG, right? When you got hacked, it was XBMC. Now, XBMC Foundation license to Kodi their code. Kodi is XBMC. Then what happened is people wanted to make money off it, and other people didn't. And a lot of us said, fuck you, and stopped working on it, basically. That's what happened. A long time ago. Round about Gotham, if I remember. If you pay attention to all the build names now, right, from that stage onwards, right, because Kodi came in at Gotham, I believe. I'm off the top of my head, 13 or 12, can't remember off the top of my head. Think about the names of everything and read the privacy.
So Kodi is like a, what is that, a search engine? Like
it's a media player. Oh, no, really.
Oh, okay.
It's a media server, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Kodi
Oh, well, Joker's having a phone call.
Yeah, you get
it's all right. Kodi Ubuntu, Kodi XBMC as it originally was, still works. It just doesn't get released anymore. It's at the media server. It's a media server that with Python, you can install add-ons, whether it be program add-ons. Like if you've got like CCTV with what's the best one? There's a open source Linux CCTV DVR thing. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. You can access all your cameras on that. You can do home automation. You can do Bob light, which is that ambient light stuff on the back of your tellies. You can have one device in your house, and whenever room you walk into, it'll just play. Just transfer right over to wherever you are. It's many things, but that's why it's open source. It can interact with anything you can possibly imagine. You can, depending on what device you use, you can install a Docker system, which allows you to use the Linux Docker system for anything. You know what I mean? It is whatever you want it to be. You know. But you can make it, if you know Python, you can make it do anything you want. Like everybody subscribes to things like Netflix and Disney Plus and all that kind of stuff. But these are add-ons for Kodi. You just put your details in and you can access it as you would normally. You know what I mean? But you don't have to fill up your system. You just have one device. You can set it as a head server and then it can interact with every other Kodi device you've got on your network. And you only have to install the stuff on one device and every other device is clean. And it still accesses everything. You could just use it as it's equivalent to Plex, but it's Plex's father and does a lot more than what Plex does. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I've got Plex. Never really used it at the moment, but yeah, I'm thinking on starting to look at Plex a bit more, especially when it comes down to my music files and things like that, because it's supposed to work really good for that sort of thing.
I know it's quite good. I mean, it's Cody I use. Anything, any device in my house, I can access my tunes that are stored somewhere, whatever. Could just be a USB in straight in the router. You know what I mean? It could be plugged into one device. You know what I mean? It's just, it is what it is. Eh? You know what I mean? It's just what you're used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But there's many servers out there. MediaToon's a good one. That's good if you want to access transcode on the fly, like video files, and then beam that to whatever device you want, whether it be a Plex or whatever, or a Kodi device. And then that way you have one device that's accessing that stuff, and it'll send it to any device you want in your house with cabling and all that kind of malarkey.
Yeah.
Old laptops, broken screens, perfect. You know what I mean? Just jack them straight in HDMI.
That was just a foreign language to me, man. I just heard white noise. Literally, that was just pure white noise going in my ears. My ears were bleeding at one point.
I do apologise. I'm an old gamer.
It's just a different media streaming way. Basically, layman's terms, it's just a different way of streaming your movies, things like that.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah. Same as Plex you can get on. I think you still get it on Play Store. I think Plex, and it has a whole load of series, movies, but you can also use it for other reasons. Plex and Kodi was, if I'm correct, was one of the very first, like XBMC, but then then Kodi got the license correct, and they started to use their platform, which was a far better platform.
It's not that the Kodi platform's better. It's just that the original devs fell out. That's it. That's all it comes down to. The original devs fell out. Some of them went away and done their Kodi and wanted to make money off it.
Hey, Jason, it started out good, and then it went right back into the white noise, didn't it?
Did you notice that? Yeah. The first sentence was good. Are you hearing the same thing as me, Wingnut?
Yeah, the same thing.
That's good, man. I'm not on my own here, man.
I
think I need to go and do a computer course, man.
It's a way of playing stuff for free.
Right. Yeah, I got that far. Okay, that's as far as I got. That's cool. Everything else was like, okay,
it's a streaming device.
Yeah. The last operating system I used, right, and I was okay with, was XP. So I had to email.
That's actually
I had to email something yesterday. From my old laptop. I just put some documents onto the new thing, so I thought, fuck it, I'll just email them, because I've got a memory stick, but I still don't know how to transfer it onto the memory stick, right? This is how shit I am. So I thought, fuck it, I'll be smart and I'll email it. So I've emailed, right, from one laptop to the new PC. And then I'm thinking, right, how the fuck do I draw this? Because in the old days, you would just drag it out. And I'm thinking, this fucker ain't dragging, man. How the fuck am I going to send this and get it onto the desktop? It took me an hour. That's how fucking technical I am.
I got a laptop that's XP, and I mean, honestly, I got a lot of audio and video files on that sucker, man. And I even got an external hard drive that I can't even, it won't even recognize anymore. And I got a bunch of old audio files left on that too, man. But it's just like, I don't even use it. I used it at one time just for a workstation. I never hooked it up to the internet or anything.
I'm not saying I'm bad, but I think things are pretty bad when you've got to wait for your 11-year-old son to get back from school to show you how to do something. And he fucking did as well. He came in, he was like, Dad, don't be ridiculous. And, yeah, I'm really bad.
Well, if he's that switched on with a computer, man, just make sure he gets into the coding, because that's where all the funny money is, man. You know what I mean? I mean, the amount of robots that are coming, since computer minds are going to be wanting to repair them, I suppose.
Yeah.
He was just telling me a story today, and like that's why I went quiet for a bit because he's had a bad day at school. You know, I told you about his autism.
Yeah.
He reads out aloud. He can't help himself. He says when he reads, he likes to read it out aloud. So this teacher was on his case in the last lesson of the day, constantly telling him to shut up, shut up, shut up. In the end, right, she throws him out of the class. He has to wait outside. In the end, he walks to some learning place that you can go when you lose your rag. So he's gone down to another class. And she's told all the rest of the kids in the class, don't worry, he's trouble.
Yeah, don't worry. You have to be an obedient worker, man. That's what they're trying to teach him. Be obedient, consent.
Yeah, but it's because he doesn't tolerate any shit off him, mate. I swear, with all this COVID bollocks and everything else, he don't tolerate none of it. And I think he's kind of sealed his doom.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, right, they should really realise that, I mean, I only got diagnosed like 7 years ago, Like, you know what I mean? Honest, right? And when I see what happens now in schools, I can see that it's better than when I was at school. You get what I mean? All I got for was every report would say really capable but easily led, right? And you'd be getting to bother for being hyper, basically, right? And the hyper would come in because these fuckers would tell you something, and then they'd fucking flip it on you, change it. And you didn't like change with autism. It doesn't make a difference. It could be small change that makes you fucking whoa, and the big change. But most folk were like, whoa, you're like, oh, it doesn't really do much to you, but it's the smallest thing sometimes, right? But they should know, because of the COVID and the change thing, that it's not going to work well with him. You get what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
we've only known for about 3-4 months now. Joe, tell me something, right? Do you know when you've got autism, do you struggle with eye contact?
No, necessarily, no, not myself, but like you've got to remember, like at 15.5-year-old, I joined the forces, if you get what I mean. So that would have made a big difference in how it worked for me. If that makes sense, because I still would have been in that age bracket where I was still learning, and it would have been a different way, in a more authoritarian way, which I would have probably paid more attention to, if you get what I mean, because of your surroundings.
Yeah,
everybody's saying the same shit.
We see with him, he's basically told us, right, because we've had teachers saying he's being rude, he won't look at them, he's ignoring them, and I noticed he doesn't even look at me. When he's talking to me, he won't look at me. And then he explained to me, he said, when I look at people in the eyes, I can't focus on what they're saying. He said, because it doesn't stand to reason, Dad. He goes, if you use only one of your senses, it'll work better than if you're using two. So he can hear, he literally hears things better by just not having the eye contact and just using his ears. And I thought that makes perfect sense to me, man. What the fuck?
It does, but then you've got to look at it this way. You know what I mean? It's just that they didn't understand it. I'm not asking them questions about it. You know, you're asking the question. If you get what I mean. Once you've heard it said, you've then made the correlation and then looked and went, oh, right. You know, it's opened your eyes a wee bit, right? You've looked for it to see if it's there, right?
Yeah.
Once you've seen it, you've then bridged that conversation and you've been able to get an answer out of them. If you get what I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because then I've had to go and explain it to them fuckers at the school, man, who have been putting him on no end of detention, man, for being rude. And I've said to him, listen, he's heard every single word you've said. He's just not looking at you. And this is why he's not looking at you. And leave the poor fucking kid alone, man. I literally had a one-to-one meeting with him.
Aye, but that just comes down to either their, for lack of a better word, their perception of things, or just the fact that they didn't care. Do you get what I mean? You can't really put
That's
it any
how it feels, Joe. It feels like they're not equipped to deal with it.
Aye. But a lot of them haven't got the training, whether we like it or no. As much as it's more prevalent now than what it's ever been, you know what I mean? And more diagnosis because we're better at diagnosing or whatever reason, you know what I mean? I don't think they're all getting the training. You know,
well, it's come to. Do you know what? It's like opposing wills now, because I've kind of given him fuck them. It's that sort of attitude now. Go in, do well at school, but just fuck them. Don't tolerate any of their bollocks, man. Just don't listen to them. Because I've had enough of it now. That's probably not the attitude, but they give him detentions, mate. If he's been naughty, shouting, fighting, swearing, anything like this, which he never does, but if he got a detention for that, I'd be like, yep, I'll back the teachers 100%, mate. But the bollocks he's coming back with, I just tell him, don't bother, mate. Don't go. Just come straight home.
Aye, well, that was pretty much what we were taught. You know what I mean? But we got told to go to the detention though, because they were starting to like crack down on parents and stuff like that. Saying, well, look, you're the parent, you should be telling them, and the parent would be going, well, I fucking agree with them. What you fucking talking about? So they started. That's when all these like fines for going into holiday and all that started to get creeping in the early 90s, mid 90s, and then after that, what we did was we would go to detention, but when you're out of school hours, right, they can't stop you playing a Game Boy, mate, or a PSP, or listening to whatever. They're not allowed to do that. That comes under the Children's Charter, I believe. And if they give him lines, they don't want to give him 3 lines. He doesn't have to do it. And third time he gets a detention, that's how it escalates. And after that, it's all over. So we were always told to go to the detention, but they don't do what they want you to do. Just sit there and do what you want. Which I must admit probably isn't the best idea. You know what I mean? But
it's annoying because I have been up there and explained all this stuff to him so many fucking times, man, and it's all real trivial stuff. My point was that you're giving him detentions. He's getting detention nearly every day for such minor things. When he gets a detention for something bad, it's going to be meaningless. It's going to. What does it count for?
Exactly. That pretty much covers a lot of things that happen in the world today. If you get what I mean. All I know for a fact is, when we started, me and the other folk in my age group and all that kind of stuff, when we started doing what we started doing, they soon stopped keeping us detention. Because the folk that were sitting there on detention, doing all these essays and Cotman doing all these things off these view files and all that kind of stuff, were looking up and going, how the fuck's he sitting playing the PSP? The detention person would tell you, leave it, and then you'd hit him with, no, I'm not leaving it because of this, this, and this, because of that, and that. Sorry, go away. And then he would leave you alone. Hardly.
Literally, right, Joe. I had 3 detentions out of him on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? The first one was for leaving his pencil case in a class, so he had to go and get it because he'd forgotten it in the previous class, so he got a detention for that. The next day, right, where they've got all the windows open in all the classrooms now in the fucking winter because of this COVID shit. The classrooms are freezing, right? So the second day, he's in the classroom right by the window, freezing his cods off, and the teacher's got their jacket on, so he's decided he's going to leave his jacket on because he's freezing. They've told him to take his jacket off. He said, well, to be honest, you've got your jacket on as well because it's cold in here. I don't want to take my jacket off. I'm freezing. They got a detention for that. It's all these sort of things. I'm thinking, fucking hell, man, it's pathetic.
Hey, you guys, check this out. Hey, I'm gonna shut the stream down, but everybody stick around as long as you want, man. We're gonna sit here and continue even backstage, and then I'll keep the link up. So if anybody else still wants to come up, we'll be backstage and all. But I'm gonna shut the stream down. All right, you guys, just hang out. All right.